years, the Aggies have made their mark with defense. The wrecking crew, after a slow start, is back with a vengeance in 2001. The Ags have the nation's third-ranked defense and have rolled to a 5-0 start. Colorado has created a buzz in Boulder after a bruising 16-6 win over Kansas State. The Buffalo line is returned to dominance, and CU has lived up to that billing, holding Kansas State to 196 yards of total offense. It's Colorado and A&M next. Welcome to the campus of the University of Colorado, right next to the Rocky Mountains. We are at Folsom Field for college football Saturday. A pair of top 25s to hook up today. Texas A&M unbeaten after 5 to take on the Buffaloes of Colorado, now ranked at number 20 with a 4-1 record. Good afternoon, everyone. Bill Land along with David Treadwell. Boy, do we have a dandy here today in Boulder. And who would have thought this just a month or so ago? Everyone talking about the Big 12's top 10 type teams. Oklahoma, Nebraska, Texas, Kansas State, and deservedly so. But these two have shocked a lot of folks by showing up here today 2-0 in league play, and they do it in different ways.
Yeah, those guys should have gotten top billing, but Texas A&M and Colorado have quietly put together real good seasons. Texas A&M boasts the best defense in the conference. Colorado boasts the best offense in the conference, so something's got to give here in Boulder.
And we have some all-star performers to take a look at today. The A&M defense has been incredible this year. Their backers are always strong. This sophomore, Gerard Penwright, is special.
Yeah, especially in a 3-4. You want to look to your outside linebackers. Gerard Penwright, no different. He's a guy that can get after the quarterback. 8.5 sacks already in this short season, putting the offenses back 64 yards. He's had a sack in every game so far. If I were Colorado, I'd go right at him.
Well, I'll tell you what, with Colorado, you don't need to do a lot of guessing as to what the game plan is. They're going to run the football, and they've got the folks to do it with. Starting with Chris Brown, he is a load, David.
And this will be one of the guys that'll probably try to go right at Gerard Penwright. Chris Brown, he's a bruiser. He likes to run between the tackles. He'll get you those tough yards against Kansas State, who's got a pretty good defense last week. He had 33 carries, 114 yards in their upset victory in Manhattan.
Down on the sidelines today to keep us abreast of all the action there, we now throw it to Sandy Williams.
You already talked about Chris Brown. There's another running back that the Bucs fans will see for the first time since last season at home, and that's running back Marcus Houston. He is finally back in the lineup. The local All-American will finally strut his stuff in the 2001 season here at Folsom Field. Also, don't forget, there's a revenge factor going on across the sidelines. At Texas A&M, don't forget they lost at Kyle Stadium last year to the Bucs, who were winless, so expect a lot of bad blood to be boiling today. Bill?
Both these teams will be ready today. You can count on that. Here comes Ralphie. The fans are revved up as well. And as always, pressure on the quarterbacks. Craig Oakes for Colorado, Mark Ferris for Texas A&M. We're back. Count on in the Big 12 as these teams travel well. And the Aggies have brought their contingent of fans here to the Rocky Mountains as Texas A&M on the road to take on the Buffaloes of Colorado. And yeah, the students are out in force with their usual craziness. Welcome back, everyone. The series history, A&M and Colorado, well, they've only met 4 previous times, visiting team winning the last 3 meetings, and Colorado winning last year in College Station 26-19. Bill and David Treadwell, along with Sandy Williams with you. Our weather today, 60 degrees. The humidity is never a factor here. The wind will be today 12 to 18 miles per hour, and it has been gusting. And David, a former kicker, you know what kind of effect that can have.
Yeah, that's beyond wind. That's blustery. You don't want to get in a habit if you're a kicker of aiming outside the uprights, but it will play a few mind games with some guys today. It'll be a factor in field position as well.
All right. You see Colorado ready to kick it off here. They won the coin toss, defer to the second half. Aggies will receive, have the wind at their backs. In the end zone, it is fumbled and then brought out to the 10 and smothered at the 10-yard line. And Mark Ferris will come on for Texas A&M, where they'll operate in a hole, 1st and 10. The Aggie signal caller, a junior from Angleton, Texas, And Ferris is certainly a guy that they count on, averaging 195 yards per game passing in his career. The offensive line is led by Seth McKinney, the All-American candidate who's starting his 44th straight game. Backs and receivers have had some injuries. Murphy and Taylor have stepped up for youngsters, though. We'll look at the defense in a moment. 1st and 10, Texas A&M from its own 10. And Ferris to throw from the 3. Great protection. Wants it all, going deep and overthrowing Terrence Murphy, who had gotten behind Donald Strickland, the left cornerback for Colorado. Let's take a look at how the Buffs will line up on the defensive side of the football. As Colorado, Brayton leads that front bunch in tackles. The linebackers are paced by Joey Johnson. And in the secondary, senior Michael Lewis has been the big leader interception-wise. He's got 3. That's a very solid defensive group, even though we talk predominantly about A&M's defense in our opening comments. 2nd and 10 for Texas A&M from the 10. Aggies will show you a variety of looks in offense. And out of the shotgun this time, they slip it to the running back, smothered for a 5-yard loss. Bannon makes the tackle on the play. Justin, a senior from Fair Oaks, California, nails freshman Derek Farmer out of Tyler, Texas.
Yeah, anytime they go to a one-back set like that, Colorado's going to bring it straight upfield. Justin Bannon playing his techniques, little shovel pass underneath. He stayed at home, made a big play for a tackle for loss there for Colorado. Puts them in a 3rd and long situation, not where Texas A&M wants to be.
Loss of 4, 3rd and 14 from the 6 is where they mark the football. And A&M lining up with one back in the end zone. Ferris, the quarterback. Hands it off, and almost a safety. Stuffed at the 1-yard line. Bannon there, McChesney also aboard, and Colorado has got this crowd on its feet.
Yeah, inspirational play by that Colorado defense. Had a tremendous game against K-State last week and shutting down Al Roberson, trying to do the same thing in the shadow. Texas A&M in the shadow of their own uprights. Punter doesn't have a whole lot of room there on the back end line. Roman Hollowell will back to return for Colorado.
Cody skates at the very back of the end zone to punt it away. And it's taken at the 42-yard line to the 30 and more. And inside the 20-yard line for Colorado carrying the football, Roman Hollowell, who is the best in the Big 12 in punt returns.
Yeah, he's averaging over 21 yards a pop, returning punts. This is exactly what you want your punt returner to do. He gets a shallow punt off, he moves upfield to field it so it doesn't get the bounce. He runs straight upfield and gets his offense with a very short field, 16 yards and going in.
And Hollowell, 27 yards on the return. His Big 12 best average is 21.5. Here's the Buffs as Craig Oaks, the sophomore from here in Boulder, leads them out. A 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line for their first possession. And it's complete at the 10 and still chugging before knocked out of bounds. Daniel Graham, their leading receiver with now 22 grabs. Brian Gamble made the tackle.
Daniel Graham's probably a name you're going to hear quite a bit.
As Graham anchors that offensive line at the tight end position, and Oaks, a guy who has all kinds of confidence, sometimes will force him, but getting better each time out. The offensive line is massive and led by Giroud. The backs and receivers, you saw Graham. He has 21 receptions for 295 coming in. And of course, Brown is the workhorse back. Here's Brown on the call on the 2nd down, and looks like he got the 1, and they'll have the 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. The A&M defense that has been so stout and is really being backed up here. They have the 3-4, and Bernard and Warren are both off to tremendous starts. Bernard with 28 tackles. The backers are all great. Gamble leads them with 40 tackles so far. We've told you about Penwright. And Sammy Davis is the leading interceptor in the country with 4 picks so far this year. 1st and goal from the 5-yard line for Colorado, opening possession. Brown got a yard or 2 before he's brought down at the 3.
this is where the game's going to be won. The battle of the trenches. Colorado runs a West Coast offense. You've probably heard that term quite a bit through the NFL, where guys like to dink and dunk the 3- and 5-yard receptions and get yards after the catch. But they need to be able to run the ball in these types of situations, especially in goal line. You want to get those critical yards. They're going to the workhorse and Chris Brown.
Hollowell comes in, as well as Cedric Cormier as wideouts. And Oaks looking to throw it. Got time. Keeps the football and hit hard as the Aggies closed in quickly. Brian Gamble led the way. And also coming in to put the pressure on him was Evan Peroni.
This is where Craig Oaks could be so dangerous. Last week he scrambled for 70 yards against K-State. They put him in this type of situation so he can make plays. The young sophomore is that type of guy. He's got so much confidence, has such a great command of the offense. He knows his reads, knows his progressions. If something's not there, as he learned from the Fresno State game, he's either going to throw it away or he's going to duck his head and try to punch it in himself.
3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. Brown pulls his way, but not in. And the Aggie following that is sitting in that end zone, trying to urge their defense on, and Jared Morris hurt him from his inside linebacker spot.
Texas A&M living up to its billing as the #1 defense in the Big 12, 3rd overall in the country, shutting down a tough run. Colorado going to kick the field goal here.
Jeremy Flores, who is 8 of 9 in field goal attempts, sets up for this extra point type attempt and connects. And the Buffaloes used a big-time defense to get them the points on the board. It's 3-0 CU. Stay with us. Colorado strikes first, 3-0 on Flores' 18-yard field goal. And you know, the Buffs probably disappointed, though, starting a drive at the 16 after the great punt return that was all set up by the defense. And head coach Gary Barnett sees his club go out to a 3-0 lead. And Barnett, in his 12th year as a head coach, he's 14-14, and this is his 3rd year here at Colorado, with 7-5 the first year. Last year, a sour 3-8, and likes the feel of this club and the physicality that this team plays with. On the other sideline is R.C. Slocum. 114 wins, winningest in all-time A&M history, and Slocum at 114, 37-2, his 13th year as the head coach, and led him to a Big 12 title back in '98 with that exciting overtime win at the TWA Dome in St. Louis. That was over Kansas State. And the Aggs at 5-0, coming off the win over Baylor 16-10, while Colorado was stuffing Kansas State last week 16-6. And Colorado to kick it away. Taken at the 1. 25, and the Aggies will have much better field position this time on the return by Dewan Gentry, a sophomore from Denison, Texas, as A&M will take possession. Instead of 1st and 10 from their 10, it'll be out at the 20, so they mark a 24-yard line. I beg your pardon, 27-yard.
Bill, no surprise, without question, Colorado's offense is probably upset that they didn't get it in for 7 there with a short field like that. But the Aggie defense stepped up large. Let's see if it carries over to their offense.
Ferris hands it off. Farmer got a couple as he pounced across the 30 and then hit hard at the 32. Robbie Robinson, the free safety, a senior from Oceanside, California, made the tackle for Colorado.
Of the 3 running backs we'll probably see from A&M today, Derek Farmer, the best runner, good feet, good vision. As he cuts back there, Robbie Robinson stepping up from his free safety position to make the tackle.
Roderick Sneed is the injured player for the Buffaloes, a junior from Texas, out of North Mesquite High in the suburban area there of Dallas. Up hobble a little bit with the ankle. Hopefully he will be okay. You know, all the games are big, but anytime you're playing against one of the Texas schools, your Texas players are going to be a little bit more juiced. And hopefully Snead will be able to return.
Buffs really don't want to lose him. He stepped in last week at Kansas State in Manhattan, filled in for Phil Jackson, who's wearing a cast on his left hand today. Roderick Snead had a real nice game. He backs up in a lot of positions, works in that nickel and dime package as well.
2nd down and 5 for Texas A&M. Ball on the 32. Man in motion, Taylor. Ferris wants to throw, has time. And it is complete to Taylor. 1st down Aggies inside the 45-yard line. Donald Strickland was covering on the play. Nice throw, nice catch. Ferris to Jamar Taylor.
Jamar Taylor is the transfer from Notre Dame. Just ran a little route here in the flat. Got to be impressed with A&M's offense. They're not taking any flack from this CU defense. They came out with that first play of the game. They went deep on this play. They just set it up. 2 receivers set to the far side of the field. He just runs underneath Strickland, give him a little cushion.
1st and 10 at the 44. And David, you got to wonder if both teams, they want to have some balance today, but if you're going to throw, you almost have to do it when you've got the wind at your back, and A&M is trying to take advantage of that now. Complete as Murphy takes it to the 50 and gets across into Colorado territory before Joey Johnson makes the stop. I mean, do you think we might actually see almost different quarters of play calling because of the win?
Well, I think they're trying to feel each other out right now, but because A&M does have the win, there's Joey Johnson in on the tackle. He's filling in for Jay-Sean Sykes, who's out with a herniated disc in his neck. Not going to play today, likely out the rest of the season.
Sykes, huge leader for this Colorado defense. They managed to play well without him last week at K-State. On the ground with the draw, Farmer to the 46-yard line of Colorado before he is made or is tackled on the play. 9:24 to go here in the 1st period.
A&M responding very well. They give up 3 on the short field. They get the ball back, moving the chains. That's the idea right now. You're in a hostile environment coming up to Boulder. Although A&M does travel very well, we see a lot of Garnet out there. They are a team that's bouncing back right now, responding with a good offensive drive, keeping those chains moving.
Yeah, and it's quieted this Colorado crowd a bit that came out all revved up, and when the defense stuffed the Aggs on that first possession, certainly had them going. 1st and 10 on the 46. Ferris again hands off to Farmer. Farmer getting his 3rd straight start. Harris and Johnson making the tackle. Derrick came in averaging 4 yards a carry, 193 yards on the season with 1 touchdown, a true freshman out of Tyler, Texas.
Yeah, there's Joey Johnson again, the linebacker we just mentioned. This defense designed as a 4-3. I was talking to Vince O'Crew, the defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator here at Colorado. This defense is designed to free those linebackers up so that they can make the tackles. Last week they played pretty base, pretty fundamental to protect a guy like Joey Johnson.
2nd and 8, the ball at the 44. Ferris out of the shotgun. Complete, no. Dropping it out of the backfield was Joe Weber, sophomore from San Bernardino, California. One of the few non-Texans on the Aggie roster. Phil Jackson out of Colorado Springs that David was talking about a moment ago was covering from his right corner spot, and you see Weber disappointed that he couldn't hang on there.
Yeah, that was just an outright drop. You can't afford to have those when you're that wide open. He could have picked up 5, maybe even 10 yards and he made the reception.
And Weber does have 6 receptions on the year. 3rd and 8 now. The ball remaining on the 44 of Colorado. Ferris, and a timeout going to be called, and the Aggies will talk it over. So Colorado calling the timeout. We'll take a break as well. Stay with us. It is Colorado with the early lead, 3-0. Reveille and the Aggies on the short side in the early going. 2nd possession for A&M with a 3-0 Buffaloes here in Boulder. Welcome back to Folsom Field. Bill Land, David Treadwell, Sandy Williams with you. Glad to have you aboard here today as a battle of 2 2-0 teams in Big 12 play. Following the timeout, A&M with 3 wideouts set to the top of your screen as Ferris waits for Colorado to make a possession, and the officials will let him go. 3rd and 8, ball on the 44. There are the 3 wideouts, led by 82, Taylor. 4 is Goins, and 83 is Jones. Murphy to the right side. Ferris to Murphy, trying to cut back in, and no go against Colorado. Donald Strickland was there waiting. Tackled at the 45, maybe a loss on the play.
No surprise there. A&M playing it somewhat conservative. They had trips out to the left. They got Terrence Murphy. This kid was playing quarterback last year at the high school prep level. They like to get the ball in his hands because he is the type of playmaker. That little slip screen, Colorado had it read all the way.
Skates to punt it away, and Hollowell, who returned it 27 yards last time to set up that field goal, is waiting again. Skates, a boomer. Hollowell will let it go. The Aggies try to down it and did not, or did they? Yes. They got there in time and did not carry over to the end zone, as it'll be 1st and 10 from the 1. Wow, what a huge play in the special teams category. And there you see
Jonte Buell. What an effort by him. That's something you really can't coach. You can try all you want to learn how to down the ball inside the 10-yard line, but that's just a special effort by him going down, working hard, keeping his feet in the field of play because you can't get in the end zone, leaning out over that goal line and just tipping it back. Tremendous play by Jonte Buell.
And then Everett Smith smartly smothered it. Fans not happy at all with the non-call, if you will.
They want to say his foot was on the line.
Yeah.
So it'd be a touchback.
So how much more interesting can we get with the start of this one, where you get Colorado stuffing A&M on the Ag's first possession, and now on the Colorado second possession, similar situation.
Let's take another look. It's hard to tell. I know college doesn't have replay, luckily. But I think what the crowd might be a little up in arms about is it might have hit the line before Jonte Buell got his hand on it to tip it back.
Gary Barnett not going to win this one.
No, he's not going to win that argument.
So, Oaks and crew operate from the own end zone and just trying to get it out of there and get a little breathing room on the first down carry, as Honeycutt makes the tackle. Jesse Honeycutt. He and Christian Rodriguez will alternate some today. Rodriguez suffering a bit of a knee injury, and Honeycutt is a junior from Amarillo, Texas.
You mentioned the battle of field position early on. The wind is playing into that to some extent. Texas A&M doing a nice job in their last drive. While they didn't get any points, they've shifted the field position momentum. Colorado backed up in the shadow of their own uprights now.
And going into the wind, not that you want to throw it a bunch down here anyway, but it certainly doesn't give you much option. 2nd and 10, but watch out when you break it, and they do, right up the middle. Cortland Johnson, a 5'9" senior. Johnson, I beg your pardon, Chris Brown. Brown with a big play. Davis made maybe a touchdown-saving tackle.
Little counter tray there. Watch the cutback. Great block by Wayne Lucier, opening up that hole right up the middle. All they're trying to do right now is buy some yardage for their punter, and opened up just enough of a hole for Chris Brown. That's where he's at best, running between the tackles.
14 yards for Brown. And they keep it on the ground again, as Peroni and Penwright make the tackle this time. Well, Colorado averaging 235 yards a game in running offense, 2nd in the league, 9th in the country.
They want to be balanced as well. They'd like to have a 50-50 split between the run and the pass, although the season so far has dictated they're more 60-40 run right now to pass.
202 is what they get through the air. 2nd and 7. Oaks to throw. Coverage breaks down. He scrambles and just unloads it. Honeycutt putting the pressure on him.
Craig Oaks had plenty of time there. It was a coverage sack, you could say there, if you will. He had to run outside the pocket. And that's where Craig Oaks has progressed in his maturity. He's making better decisions. He's not trying to force that. He's a kid that tries to make plays too much. I was talking with Sean Watson, the offensive coordinator, and he said, sometimes I have to pull the reins back in on Craig Oaks because he's so talented that I got to hold him down a little bit. Wise decision to throw it away.
3rd and 7 here for Colorado on its own 18. Oaks nearly picked off. It went right into the arms of Bodovich, Wes Bodovich, a senior from Kennedale, Texas, and he'd have had 6 if he'd have hung on, and he knows it.
I don't think Bodovich even saw the ball coming. Cortland Johnson, a little out route here in the flat, He was open. Craig just threw it behind him. Matovich wasn't expecting the ball. He was looking to make the tackle.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe saying, wish I'd had replay. 4th down and 7, and Flores to kick it away for Colorado.
Something interesting, Jeremy Flores punting this week. Mark Mariscal having to sit down after having a pretty good season so far.
Cormier on the punt return. He'll lose yardage on it. Great coverage by Colorado to the 40, and that is where A&M will take over. 5:36 to go in the first. 3-0 Colorado as Texas A&M will get the ball back. But the field position game slowly coming back now toward A&M. First one they got, what, on the 10. Next time is the 27, I believe, and now this time they start on the 40-yard line.
And that's exactly what you need to do. And that's the benefits of having the wind in the first quarter. You got to take advantage of that.
By the way, injury update, Roderick Sneed, who we saw hobble off a pulled hamstring and is questionable as to whether or not he will return for the Buffaloes. So Sneed out with a pulled hamstring. Here is Ferris out of the shotgun on 1st and 10, underthrown as it was intended for the wideout Dwayne Goins.
Texas A&M, bit of an anomaly this year. We're used to seeing them more of a 2-back set, grind it out, try to run, quarterback under the center quite a bit. Personnel situations have dictated them changing their offense up quite a bit, losing their 2 top receivers in Greg Porter and Bethel Johnson.
New offensive coordinator Dino Babers said he'd like to see this club be able to be balanced today, but he said, boy, I don't know. He's very impressed with the Colorado defense, and you can see why here in the early going. 2nd and 10, and the handoff to Farmer. He gets out to the 43, maybe 44-yard line before Medford Moore, a sophomore from Los Angeles, makes the tackle for the Buffaloes. Brayton also there for the Buffs.
Anytime they go to that 1-back set, watch for Colorado just to pin their ears back and bring it. When they have 2 backs in the backfield, they're going to play more of a gap control. There's Sean Tuff. You can see him inside linebacker working his way to the line of scrimmage to the handoff to Farmer there. They had that sniffed out pretty well.
4 wideouts for Ferris to work with. He's 3 of 6 for 7 yards. 2 of his completions have been negative yardage today. Flushed out of the pocket on a 3rd and 6 and complete at the 49-yard line. 1st down Aggies.
That
Great
was
communication.
A tremendous
Wow.
catch by Jamar Taylor. Transfer from Notre Dame. Watch him come back to his quarterback. That's what receivers need to do. When the quarterback's in trouble, come back to him. Give him a target. Don't leave him hanging out there. Nobody near Jamar Taylor. He didn't have anybody within 10 yards of him as he's working the sideline right there. I think that might have been a semi-blown coverage by Colorado there.
Fans wondering as they watch on the big screen here, was he in bounds or out of bounds? And adds to the frenzy here of the CU followers. It's 1st and 10 for A&M on the 49 of Colorado. Ferris fakes on the play action and completes this one for another 1st down to the 36-yard line as he got away from Harris on the pressure. Murphy with the reception. David telling you about his quarterbacking days. He's got just such great athletic skills. He's fit in quickly as a receiver here.
Yeah, he certainly has coming over. Here's Terrence Murphy working. He worked that like an NFL receiver. Yeah. He had both feet down.
You're probably thinking, I'm going to be there someday. I might as well work on it now.
Only a true freshman right now, though. Give him a couple years.
1st and 10 at the 36. A&M down 3-0, but trying to make something of this drive as Ferris out of the shotgun again. And the intended receiver on the play, number 1, Farmer. He was well covered, though. Sean Tufts was out there with him, and A&M just threw it away.
Actually good to see him throw that ball away because he looked to Derek Farmer immediately. Sean Tufts stepped right up there in the passing lane and wisely threw it away. I was a little surprised. He really didn't have much pressure on him. He didn't take some time and look downfield a little bit more and go through his progressions.
R.C. Slocum looking on as the Aggies last year had a 22-game home field winning streak brought to a halt by this Colorado team that was led by Oaks in his first start. And A&M trying to even up out here today. They're 2nd and 10 on the 36 now. And the little shuttle pass. Farmer trying to find a hole. Not much there with Drew Walrus. Walrus making the tackle. California product.
He had some space for a moment on his shovel pass here. We've seen this formation before. They threw to the short side, the single receiver. This time just dumps it underneath. And Derek Farmer, usually a guy like that can make a play. But Colorado's linebackers stayed, they didn't bite on it, stayed right at home, made the play.
But both teams, David, look so well prepared. The coaches have done a great job at getting these teams ready for this matchup here today.
Well, we know about Colorado's offense, how good they are, but their defense has really come along in the last couple weeks.
3rd and 9, Ferris. Incomplete. Jackson was covering on the play, intended again for Jamar Taylor, and threw it about the only place he could. He had to lead him, and Jackson, great coverage there. And now A&M, 4th down.
Phil Jackson, you can see there with the cast on his left hand, looked like for a minute he made the initial break on Jamar Taylor like he was going to step up and intercept that ball. And I think he realized, I've got this cast on my hand, I'm probably not going to be able to catch it. Better play it safe, keep the man in front of me.
A 52-yard field goal attempt. Strong wind at the back of Cody Skates, whose longest 48 against Baylor last week. The fake, not a major surprise, and the ball thrown up for grabs, incomplete. You could almost smell that coming as Bodovich was the holder, and Colorado came on hard, and putting the pressure on him was Harris.
Yeah, that was a fake all the way. Colorado played this somewhat smart. It was kind of a rush safe where they didn't fly to the corners, because a lot of times you'll see guys penetrate, they'll already be on the ground, and the quarterback can go right around.
Score stays 3-0. We'll be right back. Colorado with a Flores field goal and has a 3-0 lead here in the first quarter, and let's throw it down now to Sandy Williams.
Well, Bill, as you see, this is a defensive battle. Last week, CU had wristbands with defensive schemes on it, but the schemes weren't primarily for them. They had the offense of K-State, and you also look on the wristbands of the Aggies defense. They have a middleman on the field that are calling plays between the defensive coordinators. So here you see what is normally seen on offense, also done on defense.
Mike Hankiewicz, the coordinator for Texas A&M, used to be here at Colorado, so there's an interesting twist there. First down pass is incomplete, intended for Cormier. For the Buffs, covering was Sammy Davis. He of the 4 interception fame so far this year.
Yeah, the Buffs not shying away from Sammy Davis. He's their best cover guy. He was all over Cormier. Kind of sniffed that out that it looked like it would be a passing situation. Bobby Purify in at the tailback. He's known as a guy that's in on a lot of passing situations for Colorado.
Purify, sophomore from Colorado Springs. 2nd and 10, and tripped up at the line as Purifies. He got pushed back into the backfield. Penrite will get credit for the tackle. There is Purify.
As I was saying, Purify's in on passing situations, and they hand the ball off to him. No, he's a good runner in his own right. He had over 100 yards against Colorado State himself. Both he and Chris Brown did. He's a tremendous athlete. They like to find a way to get him the ball. I watched him play high school basketball here in the state of Colorado. The guy has some athletic ability.
3rd down and 12 from the 33 of the Buffs. 3rd possession for Colorado. Oaks in trouble, dumps it, and complete. Graham hit hard and brought down at the 38, maybe 39-yard line, as Rocky Bernard was the one that flushed Oaks out of the pocket.
Penrite is a guy that you're going to watch, but watch Daniel Graham just slipping off the line there, wide open, but well short of the first down. Craig Oaks did a good job just to get rid of that ball.
Graham with a couple of touchdowns, a sensational TD grab against Kansas State last week in one of his 2 receptions. 4th down and 6. Flores on to kick it away, and Texas A&M with the deep man, DeJuan Gentry. Flores, plenty of time, high kick, but not far. As this one shanked out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it.
CU fans probably questioning right now, why is Mark Mariscal not punting? He's not injured. Jeremy Flores, your normal place kicker. Mariscal's had a pretty good season, averaging 45 yards and a 40-yard net. Must be something else going on. For some reason, he's in the doghouse.
Now Flores That one, Mariscal's had 4 of over 50 yards, but Barnett made the change and is sticking with it. It's kind of unusual that both teams are basically using one kicker for all duties today, for place kicking on the extra points and field goals as well as the punting. And Texas A&M, after a 13-yard punt, once again gets better field position with each possession. This time on its own 48-yard line, but they've yet to cash in against a tough Buffalo defense. And running the football is Keith Joseph, a redshirt freshman. He doesn't have much luck as Brandon Dabdoob makes the tackle. Joseph, 233 yards rushing on the season, a 4.2 average.
Keith Joseph, one of the other freshman tailbacks for Texas A&M, along with Derek Farmer, both freshmen. Then Ashlar Fleming, he's a sophomore tailback for the A&M Aggies.
Aggies, Joseph lining up again. Ferris out of the shotgun. 2nd and 11 after the loss of 1. Ball on the 47. 1:28 to go, first period here in Boulder. 3-0 Buffaloes. Ferris incomplete. And covering on the play for the University of Colorado was Terrence Wood.
Mark Ferris saw something that he liked initially when he stepped up to the line of scrimmage. He does have that freedom. Dino Babers, the offensive coordinator for A&M, told us he has the freedom to change the play. He's got the whole playbook at his disposal. He's a 26-year-old junior, guy who's played some minor league baseball, so he's a more mature guy out there. They give him that authority.
3rd and 11, ball at the 47 for Ferris and crew this time. Great protection, finds a man and incomplete. Off the hands that time of Dwayne Goins. Wood was covering again. And although that ball a little bit high, you know Goins is going to think he should have had it.
And most receivers will tell you, if the ball hits their hands, they should make the catch. One thing concerns me here, he slips a little bit in his route, but he ran that route, looked to be about 1 to 2 yards short of the first down anyway on a 3rd and long situation.
And that very well might be why the ball is a little bit high, as Ferris is going for the first down, obviously, on the release point. So 4th and 11, and that means punting time for A&M. Cody Skates to Hollowell. He'll stay away from this one, and it does roll into the end zone. And it'll be 1st and 10 at the 20 on the touchback this time for the Buffaloes.
No question about that one, but you have to play your reads right. Roman Hollowell stands on the 10-yard line. If the ball goes over his head, you got to let it bounce into the end zone. He made a mistake earlier in the season against Fresno State, fielded a ball about his own 2-yard line and left his team with a long field to go. It's always better to take the touchback and start on the 20.
52-yard punt, but with the touchback, actually brings it out to the 20. So 1st and 10 there for the Buffaloes. Oaks got time and going deep. And it is complete. Complete inside the 40-yard line. Wow, what a catch by McCoy. Weston covering, but Derek McCoy, a great grab, laying out, and managed to come up with it.
Derek McCoy's had a tweaked hamstring, got on the field last week, and this week, Oaks looking for him long. Let's see if he does make this catch. I thought he might have juggled a little bit, used the ground to bring it in, but the referee was disguised there and could not see. That ball might have hit the ground.
41 yards for McCoy, and the 1st and 10, and on the ground. And they come back to Cortland Johnson this time, and Jay Brooks makes the tackle from his free safety spot, and I believe we got a penalty, which is something we haven't had much of, or at all maybe today, as Colorado been averaging 8 penalties for 80 yards per game. You saw Oaks' reaction there.
You know, it's funny, they're discussing it like it's a penalty, but I don't see any flags on the ground right now, do you?
I didn't either, but it is, and it's against the Buffaloes. Tim Ayler's the referee in charge here today.
Illegal block on the offense, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Gary Barnett really upset about the call. I know in college we don't identify the culprit, but I wish we would, just for everybody's sake, not to embarrass the young man, just so we would all know exactly who it is. Kind of like a basketball, I wish they'd still make a guy raise his hand when he commits a foul. I mean, if you don't like it, don't do it.
I did it. I did it.
That's
Sorry,
right.
Coach.
I used to be proud just to get the attention. It's the only way I could get anything. 1st and 18 now for the 47 following the penalty. Oaks completes it to Johnson and brought down at the 40-yard line, making the tackle as Johnson back to almost the original line of scrimmage, and Penwright was there to make the stop.
Yeah, Cortland Johnson, a guy the offensive coaches have said he's a good player. He's been plagued with injuries over his career. Nice change of pace back for Colorado. They like to use him in those screen situations to see if he can break a play. Good runner after the catch.
Nice athletic ability. That ends the first period. Not a lot of scoring, but all kinds of excitement in a game that has been pretty much controlled by the defenses. 3-0. Welcome back to Colorado in Boulder, where the Buffaloes are the leader after one. It is 3-0 on Flores' 18-yard field goal on a beautiful, sunny, clear day, but with pretty good wind here. Now Colorado will have the wind at its back in the second period as we start this quarter with the Buffs having a 2nd down and 12 on the 41 of Texas A&M. And let's see if Oaks wants to throw it anymore here. The big play, of course, was the 41-yard pass play to McCoy a few moments ago. Does throw and complete to the 35-yard line, where Jones makes the tackle that time. Graham. Our game summary, Flores the 18-yard field goal, and that came after a big defensive stand, a great kick return. Brown, 5 carries, 18 yards. Ferris today has had a couple dropped, in all fairness to him. And the total yards, CU almost doubling up A&M. And that with, again, the wind in their face. See how the Buffs carry on here. They come in ranked number 20, A&M number 25 nationally. Johnson in motion behind the quarterback, Oaks 3rd and 6. Dumps it across the middle. An incomplete intended for Cedric Cormier. Another Texan here on this Colorado team, Gary Barnett. He's recruited well in the Lone Star State. He is out of North Shore High School in the Houston area. And the pressure that time was put on Oaks by Eamon Simon.
A&M brought the full house on that one as far as the blitz. Oaks had his guy, Ed Cormier, over the middle. Maybe just a slight bit low. Cormier usually come up with that catch, though. Colorado's going to try a long field goal here if they can get the right men on the field.
Flores will set up for the 52-yarder. It is long enough, and it is good. Jeremy Flores, whose best was a 42-yarder this year, a 48 last year, has got a new personal best, 52, and he is now 2 for 2, and the Buffs are up 6-0. We'll take a brief break. Stay with us. Flores, 52-yarder, splits the uprights. Welcome back. It's Colorado with a 6-0 lead over the Aggies. 14-12 to go in the first half. Bill Land, David Treadwell, Sandy Williams with you here at Folsom Field in Boulder as Texas A&M will receive the kickoff. Gentry deep for the A&M Aggies. Sophomore from Denison, Texas, and Flores got it all along with the win, and he will down it there on the advice of his teammate. Let's go down now to Sandy Williams.
Bill, Roderick Sneed is on the sideline trying to work out his hamstring that he pulled in the first quarter. He is hopeful for coming back. Of course, he's a Texas native, so he's been looking forward to this game. But for now, he is questionable with a pulled right hamstring.
All right, thank you very much, Sneed, out of North Mesquite High School in Dallas. And You know he wants back out there.
Yeah, on a cool day like this, it's going to be tough to keep that hamstring warm enough to get back out on the field, though.
1st and 10 for Texas A&M. Aggies operate from their own 20-yard line. And flags go as...
There's your veteran center there, Seth McKinney. When he sees the Buffs jump offside, get in that neutral zone, if you will. Smart snap to the quarterback. He kneels down. Take a free 5.
McKinney, one of 5 A&M players that have already graduated, working on his master's degree. Of course, his brother Steve for the Indianapolis Colts.
5 yards.
Like those smart guys at your center position. They're kind of the quarterback of the offensive line.
Round the Big 12, Texas rebounds after the loss to Oklahoma last week, hammering OSU in Stillwater. Nebraska leading Baylor and Waco 14-7. And Iowa State and Missouri, a dandy, tied up in the 4th. That one in Columbia. 1st and 5 now. Oaks going deep. Got a man and incomplete. Strickland was covering. I believe Murphy saw it go right through his hands.
Looked like the mirror image play that Colorado ran at the end of the 1st quarter there. Ferris, the same route there to Terrence Murphy. He has his man beat. He has a step on him, and the ball is dropped in there very nicely. Dino Babers says this is the one place that Mark Ferris has improved the most, is throwing his deep ball. Murphy just lost his concentration there at the end.
And you see the react from Ferris. Been throwing at 61% clip with 1,100 yards coming in, 3 touchdowns. And now a 2nd down and 5. Nothing doing that time for Keith Joseph as he is tackled by Sean Tufts, the sophomore from Inglewood, Colorado.
Interesting call there by Dino Babers on 2nd. Actually, that was 2nd and 5 there.
Yeah, I like the 1st and 5,
Sure.
almost a free play that, all right, let's go ahead and see if we can get deep on them here.
Now
And
he's
they
gotta
did.
Get back and move the chains.
Yeah.
Goes back to the conservative running game.
Colorado is averaging 31 points a game. The Aggies 25. They're not on that pace today as a timeout is called as A&M wants to talk it over. 2 just stout defenses here have really been up to the task so far, but a pair of Flores field goals with the Buffs on top, 6-0. Watching it all on Fox Sports Net. Nothing better than the flat irons that rest on the side of the Rocky Mountains near the Colorado campus. Welcome back to Boulder. It is 6-0 Buffaloes over Texas A&M. Bill Land, David Treadwell, Sandy Williams with you here as the Aggies facing a 3rd and 4 now. Texas A&M on its own 26-yard line. What do you think we're going to see here, David?
Probably not a bad timeout there by A&M because they had some confusion, obviously, setting up that play. But they really need to get some consistency going on their offense.
Trying to get a little momentum. Colorado crowd encouraging the Buff defense. 3rd and 4 from the 26. Ferris out of the backfield. Weber lost the football.
And fumbled it out of bounds.
Fumbled it out of bounds, and Lewis made the hit on Weber, who looked like his momentum might carry him to the 1st down.
Michael Lewis is a hitter too. He's a fast guy and he will bring it. He unloads on Weber, knocks the ball loose. Usually that's an opportunity your defense can take advantage of. It fumbled forward, although as you know, if the ball is fumbled forward, it's got to come back to the spot where it was lost possession of it. So it'll be 4th and short now, 4th and 2. Looks like A&M can opt to punt.
Yeah, Goins, the nearest man to it, recovered it out of bounds, and you see skates back to punt. A&M setting up with its entire line on the near hash mark. There is Hollowell deep for Colorado. Roman, a senior from Denver out of Mullen High School, had the big punt return to set up the opening score for the Buffaloes.
Looks like the old shift you had on field goal protection.
Now what's the purpose of this? You're a kicker.
Well, sometimes it'll force him to call a timeout and confuse CU.
Maybe give him a little bit more difficulty in putting on a rush. They came after him that time, and the fair catch by Hollowell is made inside the 40-yard line, about the 38. 33-yard kick, and Colorado, good field position to start this possession with 13:04 to go in the half. And R.C. Slocum sees his club off to a 5-0 start. 4 of the first 5, though, at home, and every game has been interesting. They were down 16 in the opener to McNeese State before winning by 14. Went on the road to win at Wyoming, and then victories over Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, and then Baylor, just 16-10, in one in which Baylor was throwing in the end zone at the end. So nothing has come easy for these Aggies, but they've gained confidence, and he really likes the feel of this team as it improves each week. 1st and 10. Oaks going deep, incomplete. And
that deep ball was there, too.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we've had receivers open.
Yeah, circling Brandon Drum out of the backfield. Somewhat surprising because A&M doesn't like to give up the big play. They're more conservative. They're going to play a 2 and 3 deep zone sometimes because they don't want to give up that. They have that bend but don't break philosophy, as we've seen today. Colorado only managing a couple field goals. A couple guys' helmets were stuck together. They actually had to take them off and pounce them on the ground so they could break them loose. Connected by the face mask.
Some serious hitting going on. 2nd down and 10. There's A&M only allowing 227 yards of offense per game. Best in the league, 3rd in the nation. Not much doing. A loss on the play that time for Johnson.
Rocky Bernard, excellent play upfield. Staying at home there at his defensive end position. He had a blown ACL last year, and he's coming back, getting back to the form that he once had. That was an outstanding upfield move by him.
Now Bernard out with a knee injury last year, comes back with a sack, 28 tackles coming in here today. From Baytown, Texas, a senior, Rocky Bernard. Comes out on the 3rd and 12 for the Buffaloes. CU on its own 37. Man in motion is McCoy trotting toward the ball. Flag thrown. Incomplete, intended for McCoy. And going to have it's like a legal procedure.
Yeah, I think Colorado was moving. Been an illegal shift.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
They get to do it again.
Yeah, before the snap, so Gary Barnett's club actually gets another opportunity here. It's to be 3rd and 17, though.
There aren't a whole lot of plays in the playbook for 3rd and 17. These were
not against this defense.
No, they've been excellent today. Very sound fundamentally.
Well, both these teams bring so much defensively. We haven't had the turnover yet, even though we've had the defenses making their stands. Third and 17. Let's see what A&M brings against Craig Oaks. Incomplete, as at the 41-yard line, McCoy, an excellent grab there, as on his back was Jonte Buell. Well, Buell might have got a hand in there, but great reception.
Jonte Buell was all over him like a cheap coat. Could have thrown the flag, but he makes the catch anyway. Almost too tight a coverage in a 3rd and long situation. You don't want to get a pass interference call and then give him an easy 1st down in that type of situation.
Gentry goes back for Texas A&M. And Flores is back to punt on his own 26 for Colorado. Fourth and 8. Colorado with a 6-0 lead on Flores' 2 field goals. The last one was a 51-yarder. I believe I said 52. Officially, they marked it down as a 51-yarder.
Yeah, it was a whole foot inside the stripe, so you get 1 less yard for it.
Spoken like a true kicker.
Yeah.
Saying, come on, if anything, give me the break, right?
Exactly.
Anything
give me the benefit
over.
of the doubt.
Yeah.
Right. I'll take the longer. Although I think the wind gods smiled very nicely on Jeremy Flores there. It's almost like it came to a nice calm right before he kicked it. Then the wind picked back up after the kick. But he hit a good ball.
And the penalty will set him back 5 more yards. You see the flags are blowing here today as Flores 4 punts for 42 yards on his average this afternoon. 10:59 to go in the 2nd period. The Buffaloes moving into the rankings after a season opening loss to Fresno State, 24-22, a game that I talked to folks here in Boulder that said we should have won it. We turned it over 5 times. Of course, Fresno up the road at Colorado State and ranked in the top 10 now. But Colorado got everybody talking after the victory over K-State in Manhattan last weekend. That followed victories over Kansas, San Jose State, and Colorado State. This a dandy, high and deep at the 9. Gentry in trouble, got a block at the 20, cuts it back up and makes the most of it as he's out close to the 30-yard line. And Strickland made the tackle on the play. So Texas A&M will get it in pretty good field position.
Just a great individual effort. Makes a guy miss, and then breaks contain on the right-hand side, turning it back around. I think what the crowd was booing about, thought it might have been a push in the back there, which allowed him to spring free around the right-hand corner.
Yeah, Joey Johnson, they thought may have gotten hit in the back, more on the side. I think the no call was the right one there. When in doubt, keep that hanky in your pocket, ref.
Well, coaches always say, if you see his nameplate, don't block him.
Right. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line after that 50-yard punt and 20-yard return. Farmer, Colorado defense saying, Stuffed just after he crossed the 30, give him a yard or two. Marcus Harris blocked a punt against A&M last year in the Colorado win in College Station. Makes the tackle here, sophomore from Grand Junction.
Colorado's going to do that in that single back formation. Marcus Harris just pinning his ears back and coming around the corner, maintaining his side there on the penetration.
Dave, the thing that's impressed me with both defenses is incredible speed.
Yes,
these guys, both sides, really get to the ball in a hurry. You'll see a play and think, well, that's going to get you something, and somebody shuts it down. You see Colorado owning the total yards battle so far. 2nd and 8. Ferris, complete to Murphy, hit hard, short of the first down, and tackled by Terrence Wood.
Good lateral speed by both defenses, even though they employ 2 different philosophies. Colorado running the 4-3, but they like to get their linebackers involved. A&M running the 3-4. Obviously, that's where their talent is, at the outside linebacker positions.
9:13 to go here, first half. Colorado, a 6-0 leader. Texas A&M moved the ball a little bit, but nothing big consistency-wise. It is 3rd down and 3. Ball at the 36. They show bringing everybody up. Now the safety's back off. Ferris wanting to throw, does, complete at the 30. Strickland was beaten, and Taylor will score. Touchdown, Texas A&M. 64 yards.
Great read by Mark Ferris. He saw him coming up. They were sneaking up, both safeties, bluffed like they were coming. Then they set back for a minute, came anyway, had one-on-one coverage. Jamar Taylor is a big physical receiver, got behind Donald Strickland right here. Little simple pass over the middle, exactly what you're looking for, a slant route on that type of blitz. Get your man open, get him the ball quick. He makes a play and gets on down the field.
Taylor, 64 yards on his 2nd touchdown reception of the year. The sophomore from Mission, Texas, has tied the game. Skates for the point after to give the Aggies the lead, and it is good. Ferris, the TD pass to Jamar Taylor. They burn the Colorado defense and take the lead 7-6 here in Boulder. Well, you wonder when a big play would hit, and Jamar Taylor takes someone 64 yards from quarterback Mark Ferris and the Aggies after being down with a pair of field goals from Colorado. Bang, take the lead 7-6 with 8:44 to go in the 2nd period. And this game has certainly met all the advanced billing, hasn't it?
Yes, it certainly has. CU's offense, #1 in the Big 12. Texas A&M's defense, #1 in the Big 12 on total defense. That scoring drive, 3 plays, 71 yards. And Mark Ferris, you see him, he's not resting on his laurels. He's right back upstairs with the offensive coaches saying, great read, son.
Looking to Dino Babers as A&M with a 7-6 lead, and Skates will kick it off for R.C. Slocum's Aggies. Both these teams, this is the middle of a tough stretch as A&M at K-State next week, Colorado on the road at Texas. Trying to get an edge with a big win today. Hollowell stumbled forward across the 20, and they'll mark it at the 25-yard line. Let's go down to Sandy Williams with news on an injury.
Bill, Andre Brooks, offensive lineman for Texas A&M, is out with a banged-up knee. He did tell the trainers he expects to go back in. The same knee that forced him out of the Baylor game, so he was on the sidelines limping, but again, he's expected to go back in.
Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, they've been concerned about that with Brooks. McKinney is no doubt the leader, but Brooks is a guy that came on to start in the late part of the last season and a little banged up. Colorado putting it on the ground to start with, as carrying the football is Marcus Houston, and the big freshman out of Jefferson High School in Denver, tackled by Weston.
Marcus Houston getting an opportunity to play again. He had one run for -1 yards last week against Kansas State. He's had problems with his groin. Basically, it's a smaller muscle near your adductor. He's had a slight tear in it. Trying to get back on the field. Coaches say he looked pretty good in practice this week.
Last year, only 3 games because of a hip flexor injury, but he was impressive in those 3 games of his freshman campaign. Incomplete, intended for Houston, and welcome to the wrecking crew, Marcus. As Gerard Penwright said, hello.
Marcus Houston, definitely the thoroughbred of these 4-horse running backs for Colorado. Just a little swing pass, but Gerard Penwright read this one all the way. He was just waiting on him to catch the ball. He was licking his chops. It's like, please hang on so I can hit you.
Wow, what a hit by Penwright. 9 sacks on the year. 12 tackles for loss. And Penwright, just a sophomore in Brownwood, Texas. 3rd and 7 now for Oaks. Coming on in the blitz and tackled back inside the 15 as Christian Rodriguez comes from the outside linebacker slot and gets his 3rd sack of the year.
Here's the other half of that outside linebacker tandem. Comes in untouched. I don't know who was watching him. Pretty much from Colorado's standpoint, you got to look for 43 and 2 on every play. There's no one even putting a body in front of him. He had a free pass to Craig Oaks. Here we can see a better look at it. Just makes a play right there. The guard lets him go, thinking he's got outside help from Victor Rogers, and he didn't have it. Victor was tied up with his own guy.
Aggies had 13 quarterback knockdowns in the first 2 games. They've had 49 in the last 3 games, knockdowns. That's the kind of pressure they've been turning up. The punt, and falling is Gentry on his own 40. Excellent punt that time of 41 yards coming from Flores, and A&M will get the ball back, excellent field position.
So there's why it comes up that Colorado wouldn't let A&M put their cleats on yesterday. They didn't want him to be able to test shoes. There's the first sign of it. He loses his footing.
They went through a little walkthrough here today, and that's about all it was. Let's take a look at some scores. Miami all over Florida State, so enough of the questioning of Miami's non-conference and early season slate. Purdue losing to Michigan 24-10, that at the Big House in Ann Arbor. UCLA putting a whipping on Washington, and former CU coach Rick Neuheisel. The fans here will enjoy that. 1st and 10, Ferris. Play action and complete to Taylor. Flags everywhere, as if it stands, it'll be a 1st down at the 48 of Colorado. Phil Jackson covering on the play.
It's a flag in the secondary. This one really could go either way as to whether it's offensive or defensive pass interference. It actually is going to be defensive pass interference, so the play will stand. You can almost sense a little momentum shift here. After the big play by A&M, Colorado gets the ball back. They go 3 and out, have to give it right back to A&M after another great defensive stand to get the sack, the momentum. The offense carrying that momentum right now.
Just thinking the same thing. Penwright stood up Houston, and then the blitz, and Rodriguez gets the sack.
Decline. 1st down, Texas A&M.
So they'll take the play instead, and it is a 1st and 10 at the 48 for R.C. Slocum's Aggies. Coach Gary Barnett, who of course was here at Colorado under Bill McCartney's staff, and went and did the wonder with Northwestern, taking them to the Rose Bowl and a pair of Big Ten titles, and coming back to replace Neuheisel, and got this club 4-1, ranked number 20. Long count here for Ferris, trying to change the play. Play clock at 2, just did get it off. Farmer, nice effort to get to the 45 and picking up 3 yards. Robbie Robinson made the tackle, the free safety.
See the confidence gaining for the quarterback. Mark Ferris, he's got to be the best player on the field for the A&M offense. He's the catalyst, as quarterbacks usually are, but especially with the injury situations they've had to their skill positions and the receivers. He's got to be a guy that's got to be out there leading, and you can see him starting to take command on the field.
Ferris, 64-yard touchdown pass on the last possession to give the Aggies the lead. Throwing it here. Murphy spinning, got by a man. Watch out. Murphy can motor at the 20 and knocked out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Johnson making the tackle that saved the touchdown. Terrence Murphy shows why he plays as a true freshman who was a quarterback.
Here's the liability of Phil Jackson with that cast on his hand. He's a one-arm tackle. He does not wrap up with his left hand. Tries to get him around the ankles. Terrence Murphy, too much of an athlete for that. Colorado has some depth problems now with Roderick Sneed with the tight hammy on the sideline on the bench for Colorado. Not a whole lot of places to go.
1st and 10. The ball now on the 12-yard line. Aggies wanting more. Ferris going for 6 and overthrowing in the end zone, looking for Mickey Jones. Strickland was covering on the play.
Nice catch by the ringleaders for Ralphie down there in the corner of the end zone. He's just a little bit out of bounds, though. I like the play call by Dino Babers, though. Excellent play call. You got Colorado on the ropes right now. You're at the 12-yard line. Take a shot at the end zone. What do you have to lose?
And Mickey Jones ready to tackle the interceptor. Say, well, they had a black and gold. My gosh, I might as well knock it down. 2nd and 10 now on the 12 of Colorado. Ferris out of the shotgun. Goings in motion. Fakes the handoff. The look into Murphy. Murphy down to the 6-yard line before he is brought down. And A&M with a 3rd and short coming up now.
Ferris living right on this one because Marcus Harris read it. It's just over his outstretched hands. If he gets his fingertips on that, that might be 7 the other direction.
Ferris for the afternoon, 12 of 21, 149 and 1 touchdown.
That 64-yarder helps.
Yeah, last week against Baylor, he threw for 260, hitting on 21 of 36. 3rd down, going for the touch in the end zone, jump ball, touchdown, Texas A&M, Jamar Taylor.
Just a tremendous individual effort by Jamar Taylor. He's the sophomore, he's the transfer from Notre Dame. He's the most physical receiver that they have. You like to get him in these situations, 6'1", over 200 pounds. In the corner on these one-on-one situations, you throw a ball up there. That's why they do these fade routes, and that's why they work so effectively with a big receiver like that. And yes, he does get the 1 foot in. Although now, as I see it again, I know he got his toes in, but that's all he needs is the toes.
Taylor's 2nd touchdown, skates for the point after. And the Aggies have taken control of the football game. Back-to-back touchdown drives for Texas A&M, and Taylor has scored them both. It's the Aggies up 14-6 over the Buffs.
Let's take another look at this touchdown. Watch his feet. I know he gets 1 foot, and that's all you have to have for college. Oh, plenty of room. From that angle, plenty of room. His foot was well in bounds. Good call by the refs. That's an amazing call when they have to watch his hands, make sure he has possession of the ball before he falls out of bounds, and to see if he gets the foot down.
I thought you were saying it was amazing that they got it right.
No, I won't go that far.
They do.
I don't want to be fined by the Big 12 for criticizing the refs.
Well, how many times do you sit there, we watch it on television, go, well, they blew that call, and you come back and go, how did they see that? That's amazing how right they are so often. Here's Taylor. What an afternoon for Jamar Taylor. Taylor, considered the best blocking wide receiver. Well, today he's using the catching skills, and he got open when Colorado was bringing a blitz on the 1st touchdown, and now he's got 5 receptions for 100 yards and 2 scores.
Yeah, back-to-back drives. As we were talking about, as this drive was unfolding, you could see the momentum shifting for A&M. That's supposed to be the difference with Colorado's defense this year. They have more of that swagger back after beating Kansas State, and they don't get upset in situations like this where there's a couple big plays against them. They're like, we're all right, coach. We'll be all right. Let's just keep playing our techniques. But A&M come out on top right now.
And for A&M, obviously the toughest test of the season so far. The victory over Notre Dame looks good nationally, but R.C. Slocum said, in due respect, Colorado's a better football team than Notre Dame this year.
Yeah, Notre Dame's gotten off to a horrible start. I don't remember the last time I've ever seen a Notre Dame team 0-3 to start the season. Still, it doesn't matter. You can't apologize for your schedule and how productive your opponents are at that particular time when you face them.
Right.
If you're A&M, you got to be happy you caught Notre Dame when they weren't playing well.
Certainly the Aggies had a whole lot to do with it. That redshirt freshman quarterback for Notre Dame took quite a beating down at College Station. The kickoff. Hollowell bounced right up to him. He was fortunate, and he advances it to the 25-yard line where Colorado will get possession, brought down by Keelan Jackson from Texas A&M.
That ball was so high, I thought he was going to fair catch it there for a minute. Remember, on a kickoff, that's a live ball when it hits the ground. He was, as you mentioned, very fortunate. That ball bounced right back into his hands. That could have put Colorado starting back inside their 20. Take a look at this. It's like, look what I found. Whoop!
Well, Gary Barnett said, I don't necessarily need a big special teams play from my side. We just need to make sure that there's not a big play from the other side in the special teams game. That could have been one there.
Not to make mistakes.
Yeah, the Buffs keep it on the running attack here as carrying the football. Brandon Drum, a junior from Anchorage, Alaska. He's carried just 4 times coming into the game, and Jared Morris made the tackle for the Aggies. And you see this quarter, the Aggies, and of course the 64-yard pass play, but even taking that out, they have controlled play.
Colorado going back to the run now. This is something that they wanted to establish early on. They were saying, okay, we're giving up 2 big touchdowns. We're going to start blowing people off the ball. We need to start moving the chains and get some offensive consistency going. Inside 5 minutes in the second quarter, they want to see if they can put a drive together, go down and get some points.
Gamble makes the tackle on Cortland Johnson, the senior out of St. Louis from Hazelwood Central. Last year, he had 31 carries against the Aggies for 99 yards, and he also had a 55-yard touchdown reception against A&M. They're well aware of his talents. 1st and 10, and on the ground again, it is Cortland Johnson. Out to the 45, and Jay Brooks makes the tackle for the free safety slot.
Cortland Johnson, a very effective back in his own right, getting the workload right there. He's a change of pace guy. He's a guy that sometimes the defenders can't find as quickly as a big Chris Brown bruising through there. He's running through some of the same lanes Chris Brown has had. He's a little faster though, hits the hole quicker.
2nd down and 5 now for the Buffaloes, and Brown, we just mentioned him, musters a couple of yards to the 47 before Gamble again makes the tackle. Brian, a junior from Alto, Texas, came in the leading tackler with 40 tackles on the year.
This is probably why I'm not a coach. But if you've got an offensive flow going, you just handed 3 straight handoffs to Cortland Johnson. He's moved the ball anywhere from 15 to 20 yards. Why do you switch tailbacks?
Cortland Johnson probably asking that when he came out. Hey, coach.
I didn't see him raise his hand and say, I'm tired, coach.
I need a blow. 3rd down and 3. On the 47. Johnson short of the 1st down.
Now you go back to Cortland Johnson, and myself, along with the A&M defense, everybody knew Cortland was going to get the ball that time. He's out one play, they give it right back to him. Looks like Colorado's going to punt.
A&M is held here, and Flores will go back on his 31 to set up for the punt, and Gentry will come on for Texas A&M. He stands on his own 15-yard line. There's Flores with a pair of field goals to his credit today. A&M setting up for the return. No pressure on the kicker this time. It's a high one. Fair catch called for. They'll get, oh, he will take it. Yeah, that's one of those you say, get inside the 10, back off, try to let the ball go in the end zone. Instead, he calls for it. He sets his team up in a tough situation. You almost have to take your chance that the opposing team won't down it, don't you, David?
I think you do. I really do, because coaches, this will drive coaches crazy. They'll be pulling their hair out. You plant your feet on the 10-yard line, and you stand there. If the ball's going to go over your head, you have to take a step back. Don't catch it. Let it go over your head. Take your chances. It'll bounce into the end zone. Because as it stands now, he catches the ball. They're starting on their own 8-yard line. That's the one thing Colorado's offense did do, was shift the field position.
Let's see if they shift the momentum as the crowd gets into it. with the Buffaloes down 14-6, and you see Ferris having to shout the play. And a flag is thrown on a nice positive running play for Texas A&M to get out of the shadow of the end zone, out across the 12-yard line, but it's against the Aggies.
Yeah, based on where that comes from the referee. That's usually going to be holding, offensive holding. Not a good place to get offensive holding. You're in the shadow of your own end zone right now on the 8-yard line. I'll back it up to the 4.
Holding on the offense, half the distance to the goal, still first down.
So Colorado, a chance now to turn up the heat defensively with 2:23 to go. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining in the half. And Colorado thinking, all right, stuff them here, good field position, get it back, maybe block a punt, who knows? A lot of things can happen down here. A&M realizing might be able to snap a big one like they did earlier with a 64-yard TD pass play to Taylor. Ferris throws it out in the flat, nearly picked off as it went through the hands of Murphy, and Strickland was right there. That could have been a quick 6 for the Buffaloes.
We've seen some of the athletic plays that Terrence Murphy has made today. As I mentioned earlier, he was just a high school quarterback last year, never even played receiver before, but that's why you recruit quarterbacks. They're generally good athletes. There's a one thing Dino Baber said, they need him to be more consistent catching the ball at the receiver position. He's a young guy. He's going to grow up a lot, especially playing on the road.
Reminds R.C. Slocum a lot of Chris Taylor. Led the Aggies with 33 receptions back in '99. Second down and 14, the ball on the 4. 2:06 to go. Flag thrown again, and they're going to hold this one up. Farmer's going to take a beating anyway, but before the snap.
Might have been a delay of game. This is where the crowd's really starting to come into play. Or that Colorado defense, A&M not able to get the play off in time. Wait on the call here.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, half the distance, still second down.
Well, the yardage doesn't mean much. It was on the 2. We'll take it back. We're on the 4, and now at the 2-yard line. Just inside the 2-yard line, and R.C. Slocum going, what happened to that momentum we had?
Yeah, the offense is definitely disrupted right now. Colorado fans feeling it.
Backs lining up in the backfield. Ferris will take the snap with a foot on the goal line. Look at that. 2nd and 16. Ferris to throw out of his own end zone. Taylor trying to make the circus grab, but out of bounds.
You know what? I think he actually did come up with that ball. He just ran out of real estate.
Terrence Wood, the Californian, making the cover play, but he was really a pretty good play. The only way he could throw it was to lead him a bit, and he couldn't come up with it until he got out of bounds.
Good safe pass, because if it is overthrown, worst case scenario, it's an incomplete pass. It's not going to get picked off.
All right, now we got a reminder, David, of if they don't convert here, of what Skates had to deal with on the first possession of the game, where he kicked out of his own end zone, and Colorado got a big return. But they got one more pop, the Aggies do. 3rd and 16.
Last time they were in this formation, they ran a shovel pass.
Not this time. Ferris throws it out in the flat, and incomplete. Better that he didn't catch that one, as Dwayne Goins covered by Clyde Sorrell. And now the Aggies will have to kick it away with the ball inside the 2. You see Sorrell making the cover play.
What I don't like about that play call is you've just given Colorado one of their timeouts back. By throwing that ball. You're probably not going to pick up the first down, at least not with that pass play. Threw it 2 yards downfield. Take one great individual effort to pick up a first down on a 3rd and 15. Now the clock is stopped. Colorado has 2 timeouts. They're going to punt off the back end zone line. Roman Hollowell last time fielded a short punt and took it all the way down to the 16.
There's Cody Skates and where he's setting up. And
another delay of game.
Yep.
But that's not going to hurt them. There's not that much more room that can go backwards.
1 more yard, or less than a yard, inside the 1.
May as well take your time. Make sure you get your punt protection out there, get it set up, because you didn't lose any yards there hardly. Length of the football, maybe.
Well, and here, anything tricky with the snap, and Skates is going to just take a safety, you got to feel.
You bet.
He gets it off. A high, dazzling punt, but Hollowell lost the football. And Colorado fortunate to recover it at the 46-yard line. That sun is really playing havoc, I think, on the receiving end for Hollowell. But Colorado now with 1:47 to go, 2 timeouts, and here's the point you were making a moment ago as we take a look at the angled sun that the Colorado receivers are having to deal with.
That's one thing Colorado fans love about Roman Hollowell is he's a playmaker. But sometimes he makes your heart drop into your stomach down there by coughing up a ball in a situation like that where you're going to get good field possession, make the catch first, then run with the ball.
All right, well, you know the range of Flores is a 51-yarder. So for that to take place, they need to only get to about the 44 or the inside around the 30, 35. Look at Penwright, the defender there, breaking up the play.
Mr. Playmaker, he's a guy that's usually coming on pass coverage, but this time he drops back into pass coverage and breaks up the pass. Cormier wide open.
Again, you showed the speed of the players here today and the ability to be so versatile. 2nd down and 10. Oaks, incomplete.
Ooh, threw into triple coverage nearly there. It was at least double coverage with Bodovic, the safety, coming over.
Looking for Graham, Weston there covering, and Bodovic helping out.
See, this is where Colorado needs another receiver to step up. He's honed in almost too much on Daniel Graham. He's his go-to guy. He's his out guy. He's got to find somebody else that can catch the football consistently for him.
3rd down and 10. Dumps it out of the backfield. No first down, though, and inside the 38, Colorado's either going to call a timeout or hurry up here.
Decision time for Gary Barnett and the Buffs. 4th and about 3 yards. Be a rather lengthy field goal, probably starting at about a 56, 57-yarder at this point.
Clock still moving.
Craig's probably going to let the clock run down, the play clock run down to 1 second, call timeout, because in this situation, you don't want to punt. Really not gain anything by punting here. Field goal attempt, it's a long shot. So what you're looking at is probably going for it on 4th down, but you don't want to leave too much time left on the clock for Texas A&M if you don't pick up the 4th down.
So the Buffs do call the timeout. They have 1 remaining. And R.C. Slocum brings his troops over as Gary Barnett meets with his club.
It almost run that same play again. It's been very effective today, circling Cortland Johnson out of the backfield. He's shown to have pretty good hands. He's the only other fellow that's been able to catch the ball consistently. McCoy had the so-called catch there on the sideline that led to a field goal for Colorado. But nobody else really been able to get open that Craig Oaks feels comfortable looking for at this point.
And if the Buffs don't get the first down here, then it's all going to switch to the other side with R.C. Slocum saying, all right, we're going to have the ball on 37. A couple of quick passes. We got a couple timeouts to work with. We might get the field goal attempt before the end of the half. So the chess match is going back and forth with the clock and the situation here.
Yeah, 14-6 right now, Texas A&M. Colorado definitely doesn't want to give up any more points before halftime. They'd also like to get a 3 at least if they could, and maybe even 7 and close this game up. But the conservative route would be to punt and make sure that Aggies had a long field to go, and this is how you go into halftime. But Gary Barnett, he's going to roll the dice, 4th and 3. He likes his chances for his offense.
Colorado 0 of 8 on 3rd downs today, hoping they have better luck on 4th down as it's 4th and 3. And Oaks out of the shotgun. Down 14-6, the Buffaloes. Over the middle, you called it. Johnson, first down at the 34-yard line. And they'll stop the clock to move the chains. Brian Gamble makes the play. Buffs hurry up offense now to not wanting to have to use that timeout here. Still plenty of time with 50 seconds remaining. And they're now a 51-yard field goal attempt away. Oaks keeping the football, gonna unload it, got a man, Johnson! He might have been thinking throw it away initially, and it's almost as if in mid-throw, oh my gosh, he's open, but he couldn't quite bring it back.
Couldn't reel it back in, and that's a case where you don't want to reel it back in too much because it's an interception. But even so, it almost would have taken a perfectly thrown ball. He was under duress. He was considering taking off running there and said, I think I'm just going to get rid of the ball. Here, take a look at it on the replay. Cortland Johnson had a little bit of a step there, but as I mentioned, had an inside position on the coverage.
Smart play by Oates, something that we talk about his brashness and his confidence there. Cooler head to make sure that, hey, you still got downs to work with. 2nd and 10. Does so here and completes it. Inside the 30-yard line for a first down as Buell makes the tackle on Roman Hollowell.
Hollowell, a guy who can make plays. He's extremely fast, catches a ball and knows exactly what he wants to do with it and turns it outside. We've seen his playmaking ability returning punts. He's a guy that could step up and help out Craig Oaks quite a bit.
His first reception of the day, and it's a biggie. 1st and 10 at the 20 now for the Buffaloes. 33 seconds to go. Oaks got plenty of running room and takes it out of bounds at the 13, make it 14-yard line. Jared Morris covering from the inside linebacker spot. 28 seconds to go. 1 timeout remaining for Colorado.
Great coverage by Texas A&M. This is a coverage sack here. Now with the athletic ability of Oaks, he's got the field wide open there, but he has nobody to throw to. Thinks better of trying to force one and just gets out of bounds, picking up a few yards. Here's another look from the sideline angle. He's in pursuit again. He does have to hustle just to get out of bounds.
Yeah, he's got pretty good speed, but you just realize that that entire A&M defense so fast. 2nd down and 4 now. The ball at the 14-yard line. Hollowell resets in the slot. Graham broke one tackle, still on his feet at the 8-yard line. Clock ticking, now they hold it.
Boy, he's
It'll be a first down.
Monster to bring down. He nearly broke the 2nd tackle, and he would have walked on into the end zone.
Keel, the strong safety, made the tackle. Here's a quick look.
Watch Daniel Graham, just kind of drops off the line of scrimmage, running across the field with Craig Oaks.
1st and goal at the 8. Clock moving now. Colorado, 1 TO remaining. Oaks, looking, touchdown, Buffaloes! McCoy.
Colorado did that just right. Looks like they're going to go for 2 potentially. At least they're thinking about it anyway. Down 2. Derek McCoy runs a nice little slant route. He's a big target as well. He's a guy that if he can get healthy, he can be another go-to receiver for that CU Buffs offense. 6'3", 210, and he's a big playmaker. When he catches the ball, he averages nearly 20 yards a catch. Colorado going for 2 here.
McCoy, a 7-yard pass reception. Buffs want a pair. Oaks in the end zone, complete. Give him 2, tie game. McCoy again.
Why not? He's hot.
Yeah.
Give him the ball again. It's like in basketball when you get a hot shooter, keep getting him the ball.
Derek McCoy. The touchdown on a 7-yard pass play, and then the 2-point conversion from Oaks.
See from the eyes of Craig Oaks. He saw McCoy the whole way, splits the defenders right there. Good call. I'm not so sure that's the right time to go for 2, but when you pick it up, I guess it's the right time. It ties the game. I never like to give up that 1 point this early in the game. You go into halftime, yeah, you're down a field goal, but you never know as the game progresses how those points are going to total out. I know that sounds confusing right now, but I've watched enough football to see where coaches start going for 2 too early in a game, and it comes back to haunt them where they would have been 1 point ahead had they kicked the extra point rather than going
I
for 2.
love the call. Give it to me all day long. You got a team on its heels, you score, you come back, you get the pair.
Here's the touchdown again. Craig Oaks. Well, that's Daniel Graham. That's the play
That
before.
set it up,
Yeah,
yes.
that set up the touchdown. Daniel Graham just kind of running underneath there, underneath the linebackers.
McCoy getting his 2nd touchdown of the season, and then the 2-point conversion. I understand the argument about the 2-point conversion, but from a pure fan standpoint, boy, you love that 2-point conversion. Hey, they're paying these guys $1 million. What the heck? They go ahead and live with it, right?
That's right.
I'm talking about the coaches, not the players.
That's right.
On the kickoff, A&M. Gentry looking for room and found some. Comes up to the 30 before he is brought down with 5 seconds to go. And Harris making the tackle.
Here's another look at this touchdown. Derek McCoy. Craig Oaks just going to roll to his right just a little bit. Sees McCoy there just kind of settles in. It's man coverage. You get inside position like that without amount of time. Craig Opes does have enough talent that he can pick you apart.
Scoring drive, 135.
The big play, that 4th down and 3 conversion.
Colorado fans probably going, you know, if it was that easy, why did we do that in the first quarter and most of the second quarter?
You got to get a little desperate first, I guess.
Well, these two are playing that way today. What a half of football we've had here in Boulder. And maybe the score should be even at 14 because it has been a whale of a battle between Texas A&M and Colorado, both 2-0 in Big 12 play. We're even at 14, and let's go down to Sandy Williams with head coach Gary Barnett of the Buffaloes.
Coach, it seemed like throughout the first half, Craig Oates was a little shaken, but here it's going into the half. You got to be proud.
Great throws in there and scramble. And we need to get in sync. We're a little bit out of sync right now, but we'll be okay. We gave up that big play on defense, and our defense was really playing well, but we gave up the big one and put us behind. So.
All right, you got the drift, and we apologize for the microphone problems. Stay with us. Halftime, we're even at 14 in Boulder. Halftime in Boulder, 14-14 as Texas A&M and Colorado all even. The Buffs got the first 6, the Aggies the next 14, and then the TD to McCoy and the 2-point conversion to McCoy, and they're even at halftime, 14. Bill Land, David Treadwell, Sandy Williams with you here. And to start off the halftime activities, let's enjoy the University of Colorado Marching Band here in Boulder.
This fast and exciting arrangement of ritual fire and saber dance, which features the Gold Rush Dance Line and CU Color Guard. scores in the world. We conclude this part of our performance with themes from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, arranged by Tom Wallace.
University of Colorado band here at halftime in Boulder at Folsom Field. What a game. Tied at 14. Texas A&M and the Buffs will be back.
University of Colorado Alumni Day.
Welcome back to Boulder at Folsom Field. It's 14-all at the half. Bill Land along with David Treadwell, Sandy Williams. Hope you're enjoying the contest. The Buffaloes and the Aggies. And even at 14 at the half in a critical Big 12 conference game with both these teams 2-0. We'll have some scores of other games a little bit later on, and we've got some other activities for you here at halftime. But first of all, the Big 12 Players of the Week. Donald Strickland defensively sharing the honor. Cornerback, of course, here at Colorado with 3 passes broken up in the big win in Manhattan last week. And Roy Williams, just an absolute monster performance in the Cotton Bowl in Oklahoma's win over the University of Texas, where he had the interception and the key hit in the end zone that caused a interception for Oklahoma as well. Offensively, Eric Crouch becoming a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate for Nebraska, setting an NCAA 1A record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback, 51. And Reggie Duncan of Kansas in the overtime win over Texas Tech, he rolls for 277 yards on 38 carries and a much-needed win for the Jayhawks. Special teams, Johnny Beck from KU, the place kicker, that has been a bone of contention for Terry Allen. He comes through with 4 field goals, including the gamer against the Red Raiders in Lubbock. And for the University of Missouri, Brad Hamrick, the game winner against Oklahoma State, as we had a pair of overtime games last week in the Big 12. Well, what's ahead for these two teams? They are in the middle of crunch time. Colorado, after going to K-State last week, at Texas next week, and then at Oklahoma State. So 3 of the next 4 for the Buffaloes are on the road, including meeting the Longhorns, who hammered OSU today in Stillwater. And of course, the big one, November 23rd against rival Nebraska, is a home game, and that one might very well end up deciding the Big 12 North title. On the other side, for the Texas A&M Aggies, the Aggies are going to be hitting the road. They will have 4 of 5 on the road, counting today's game, as they go to Manhattan next week to meet Bill Snyder's Wildcats, host Iowa State with Dan McCarney, one of the more improved teams in college football over the last couple of years, and then on the road for Texas Tech, that has always been a thorn in the side for the Aggies, before they go to Oklahoma and then finish up, of course, with the University of Texas on November 23rd. That's an 11 a.m. game, so remember that, Aggies. Beautiful day here in the Rocky Mountains. We are in Boulder, Colorado. It is halftime with the Buffaloes and the Longhorns, or the Aggies, even at 14. Speaking of the Longhorns, today, 45-17 over OSU. Nice bounce back, David, for Texas in that game.
Yeah, they were really knocked off their rocker a little bit at home last week by Oklahoma, so they needed a bounce back win against Oklahoma State.
Baylor in the 4th, leading, or the Nebraska leading Baylor 21-7. And a final now, Iowa State defeats stubborn Missouri 20-14. That one in Columbia for the Cyclones. We'll take a break here as well. We are at the half, and it's tied 14-all.
Welcome back to Folsom Field here in Boulder, Colorado, where our score is 14-14. Number 25 Texas A&M against the number 20 ranked Colorado Buffaloes. Welcome back, Bill Land along with David Treadwell. An exciting first half, and more, the wheels were turning both ways.
Yeah, pretty much what we expected as far as a defensive battle. Colorado really hasn't been able to run the ball that well. They only have 44 yards rushing. The one thing I noticed, though, 0 for 8 on 3rd down conversions. They're going to have to get better if they want to move the ball more consistently.
Yeah, interesting that Texas A&M in the first quarter got better field position with each possession, but didn't get anything out of it. And then in the second quarter, they get the big pass play. That took control of the game back to the Aggies before Colorado ends up getting the final score.
Yeah, A&M's been forced to be almost one-dimensional because they've been ineffective running the ball as well. They get the big play, they get the hot route on the blitz, and Jamar Taylor goes 64 yards for the touchdown. That inspired them. They got back-to-back touchdowns then and took the lead.
You know, kind of interesting, Dino Babers yesterday, the offensive coordinator for Texas, said, in games like this, I kind of feel that my quarterback in his system has to play better than the other quarterback in what he's got to offer. He said, it's not head-to-head, but if my guy outperforms their guy as far as what they're expecting, we'll win. Today, I think these two are pretty even.
Yeah, I think we've seen a little bit of that anyway, because Ferris has been put in some difficult situations. He's been able to check out of them, and that's part of having a veteran guy out there. While he's only a junior, he's 26 years old, remember, so he's probably a little bit more poised in adverse situations like that.
And then you got to be impressed with the way Oaks was handling the clock and the entire situation in that, 1 minute 40-second drive where they got the touchdown to tie it up.
Plus, he's got a gambling coach that'll go for it on 4th and 3 and take him down there for that game-tying drive. But he was very comfortable in the pocket and made some plays, found some receivers besides Daniel Graham. That's what Colorado needs to develop if they're going to be effective moving the ball as well.
Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights now as Colorado and Texas A&M even at 14. The Aggies getting the first 2 touchdowns.
Here's the hot route I was talking about. Colorado brought the full house blitz. He just checked off to Jamar Taylor going over the middle. He beats his man and walks into the end zone. Then the fade route to Jamar Taylor. He does get 1 foot down, big physical receiver, and that makes the difference. Here's the 4th down conversion that Colorado picks up that sets up this touchdown to Derek McCoy. They decide to go for 2. You like it. I'm not a big fan of it, but they picked it up, so it doesn't matter now. It's all moot.
Well, you gotta like it. It worked, right?
Well, of course.
As soon as they screwed up, that's when you say fire the coach, don't you?
Exactly.
Hey, it's been a great game, and both teams are going all out. I just kind of like the attitude that R.C. Slocum and Coach Barnett are bringing here today, that realizing this game is important, but it looks like they're having fun with the whole battle itself.
I think they are, but both teams realize how important this is in the grand scheme of things as far as the Big 12. Both undefeated in conference play and want to have an opportunity to be there for that championship game.
All right, Ralphie and the Buffaloes returning for the second half. We will as well. Stay with us. It's 14-14 here in Boulder.
Teams coming out to loosen up for the second half with it 14-14. Bill Land, David Treadwell, and Sandy Williams with you here in Boulder as the Buffaloes and the Aggies get after it in Big 12 football. And
remember, Colorado deferred the coin toss to start the game. More than likely, they should get possession of the ball. It's just a mere formality that they have to go through right now with the score tied 14-all. Big 12 championship football.
And they're going through the procedure here where Texas A&M and Colorado, and they reset for the second half kickoff. Let's talk a little bit about the league, because this is the big game of the day, if you will, between these two teams. Folks in Oklahoma are kind of circling that Nebraska game that is not far away. The winner of this one is certainly going to get an upper hand, though.
Well, Colorado gets to play Texas next week, so that's a big conference battle for them as well. They need to take care of business here at home if they want to stay on track. They had the little hiccup to start the season out with the Jim Thorpe Classic. As you mentioned, losing to Fresno State, who's back in this state, playing Colorado State just up the road in Fort Collins this evening. Fresno State now a top 10 team, ranked number 8 in the country, so they've shown what they can do. But what Colorado, why they lost that game is they probably got away from the running attack a little bit too quick. And I noticed today when they got down a touchdown, they went right back to the run, something I think they might have learned from that first game.
All right, as the quarterbacks loosen up, Mark Ferris, who's got a couple of TD passes. Let's take a look at the overall numbers here for the Aggies and the Buffaloes. And first downs, A&M an edge of 1. You look at the rushing game, and Colorado just 44 yards. They come in averaging 235 a game. And total yards, pretty even as well, and no turnovers. Well-played game.
Very well-played game, and I think that's what both coaches try to preach to their team. Don't beat yourself with the takeaways, because that'll make coaches pull their hair out. If you turn the ball over, especially deep in your own territory, you can certainly appreciate guys trying to make plays. Texas A&M, they'll want to come out and try to establish some sort of offensive consistency. As you see, only 24 yards rushing for them. They have 156 passing, but 64 of that was on the big play to Jamar Taylor.
Let's take a look at the top 25 and understand today that Miami is already a winner over Florida State. There's Oklahoma 3, Nebraska 4, Oklahoma meeting Kansas, homecoming in Lawrence. Somebody better check the guy that set that up. Nebraska, of course, at number 4, then followed by Oregon, Vatech, UCLA. There's Fresno at 8. South Carolina, Washington. You see the checks by the Big 12 schools as Texas A&M at 25, K-State at 24. And the Wildcats need to get back on the winning track. They've been shell-shocked a little bit with back-to-back losses to Oklahoma and Colorado.
Big 12 representing some pretty quality football programs.
And let's see if this stands up as Colorado outscoring opponents in every quarter this season and going 35-0 in the third quarter. The ball on the kickoff goes out of bounds. The flag is thrown.
And that is a definite no-no. You got the wind to kick off in the second half, and you kick it off out of bounds. Nearly hooked it right there about the 3 or 4 yard line. Now Colorado's going to get possession at the 35.
So what's the coach say to you as you come over to the sideline on that?
Well, it's never happened to me before, I'm sure. I've pushed those out of my memory. I don't remember a thing. Coaches are pretty upset with it. What are you kicking the ball out of bounds for? See, the strategy was if you yell at yourself, then maybe the coach won't yell at you.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Colorado takes advantage of, or hopes to take advantage of good field position. First and 10 on the 35. And on the ground out to the 38-yard line, carrying the football, Chris Brown. And Peroni made the tackle there.
Right back to the running game, just like we talked about with Colorado, as they want to try to get things going. Chris Brown, 6 carries for 21 yards in the first half.
After 33 carries last week against Kansas State. He had 114 in that one. He had 22 for 140 against the University of Kansas.
You'd have to say A&M's winning that battle of field position, or battle of the trenches up front right now. There's another example of it, except Craig Oaks rolling out.
Wow, 2nd and 7. He had all day and completes it to McCoy, who's maybe becoming the other go-to guy. Coach Gary Barnett saying, we got to find somebody other than Graham that we could trust. Well, McCoy's raising his hand.
I was going to say, his new favorite target in Derek McCoy, working like he's going to run a go route, just turns it up, turns to the sideline. Oaks hit him right on the money. There's another look, little play action. See what the run can do. Can freeze the linebackers for just a second, give you that passing lane.
1st and 10. And on the carry this time, Chris Brown, tackled by Evan Peroni, the senior out of Houston Clear Lake High School. And it'll be 2nd and long coming up for Colorado. First possession for the Buffs, as you see Brian Gamble hobbling off just a bit. Big 12 defensive freshman of the year 2 years ago, and then last year an all-conference honorable mention pick. Had 13 tackles in the loss to Colorado last year.
They'll afford to lose him. He's their leading tackler, but there's where that pursuit.
2nd and 9. That wall of Aggies hits Brown again as Bernard makes the tackle, and we take a look on the sidelines to see Gamble's problem.
Looks like Victor Rogers a little dinged up there, getting up kind of slow as well. Even the offensive lineman starting to get a little beating from the Texas A&M defensive line. But what I was trying to get to before that next play was the lateral pursuit that A&M has right now with their linebackers. Colorado having a lot of trouble running the ball to the sideline.
Third down and 8 for the Buffs. Oaks. Ball deflected, nearly picked off. Ty Warren got the hand on it at the line of scrimmage, the 295 junior nose guard, and Weston is the one that nearly came up with the deflection.
Sean Weston trying to get in favor with his opposite corner there, Sammy Davis, who already has 4 picks. Weston working hard. He wanted to get his first on the season there.
Down by Warren to get the mitts up. 4th down and 8, and that'll bring on Flores from his own 46-yard line. Gentry standing on his 10 as he was instructed to do so by David. Let's see what he does this time. Fair catch, and will catch it at the 8, just like we saw before.
He backs up again to catch it.
And if the Aggies have the same result, they'll get stuffed on their 1, punt it away. Colorado score in a minute 39 and take the lead. Let's see if that plays out.
Funny how history repeats itself, doesn't it? We'll see if it does in a football game as well. I don't understand that. If you have to back up to catch the ball, you probably shouldn't be catching the ball.
But so he appeared to be well aware
that he was backing up. Well, use yourself as a decoy. Run over to the side like maybe the ball's going over there so Colorado couldn't down the ball. I think that's a cardinal sin.
Aggies. In incomplete, intended for Murphy. And Murphy, who has made some nice plays, has had the opportunity to make some more, even though that would have been a great grab. Terrence Wood was covering on the play. You really can't ask too much more of Ferris on some of these throws.
No, it looked like he was even trying to direct traffic, as he's 13 for 27 for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. But he was trying to direct that play while it was in progress. He had enough time with only a three-step drop.
2nd and 10, ball on the 8. Tied at 14. Ferris drills this one to Murphy, and he spins to the 15-yard line before Wood tackles him there.
Almost looked like the identical play from last time, except the last play, he wanted Murphy to turn that route and go upfield for the home run ball. Here he just turns it up to the sideline. Now they're just trying to get out of their own end zone, so they have room to punt and have a makeable 3rd down now, 3rd and 3.
At the 15, the Colorado fans standing, making some racket. Ferris checking the coverage out of the shotgun. Hands it off. 1st down and more to the 27, making the 26-yard line before Derek Farmer is tackled. The freshman from Tyler, Texas, brought down by Robbie Robinson.
Well-designed play. I think A&M might have picked up something at halftime, because he had a huge running lane on the delayed handoff there with a split backfield. Farmer, their best runner, get him the ball. He had a little bit of a lane, made it into a big gain for them.
And if you're wondering why A&M, Colorado fans we're speaking to, of course, here, saying, boy, these young receivers. Well, they lost their best receiver, Bethel Johnson, with a spleen injury, out for the year. And then they also have lost Richard Whitaker, who's gone back and forth from running back to wide out. So, and throw in Porter as they deliver this one to the 35-yard line. And Lewis making the tackle. And you understand how much pressure is on Ferris as these young receivers finally catch on.
Yeah, he's a guy that, as we've talked about, he's got to be the guy out there, the glue to hold the offense together when your skilled people are still trying to develop that chemistry with the quarterback and getting open. Right now, they seem to be clicking.
You take Whitaker, Greg Porter, and Johnson out of those are 3 big playmakers for R.C. Slocum. He said, somehow we found a way each time. Well, the good news is these young guys are coming of age quickly. Think of the great experience they're gaining. 2nd and 1 from the 35. Farmer dances and hops his way for the 1st down, I believe, as he is to the 38-yard line. And the Aggies will move the chains here against this Colorado defense that has been so stout to go along with its top-rated offense in the Big 12.
Good balance so far here in the second half between the run and the pass. Just keeping the chains moving, trying to keep plodding along over the course of a game. And in the second half, you can wear a defense down like that with ball control.
Aggies 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Murphy out to the left side. Taylor in motion, now both going out. In trouble and brought down inside the 30-yard line. Ferris is sacked by Justin Bannon.
Justin Bannon continued to work upfield. Walrus came off the corner. He was blocked. He was picked up. But Bannon kept working, beat his man. Coverage sack.
Bannon, 3rd team all-conference last year, 2nd team the year before, and shows why.
Quarterback's got to have that clock in the back of their head, knowing when the time's up and they got to get rid of the ball. That was one of those times where you got to unload that. You got a good drive moving. You don't want to take a big loss and a sack there.
Now it's 2nd and 18 to prove the point. Let's see what they come up with. The ball on the 31. Ferris, quick out to Murphy to get back to the original line. Flag thrown, though. Let's go down to Sandy Williams.
Bill, you know, Roderick Sneed pulled his hamstring in the first half and spent most of the first half riding a bike in hopes of coming back, but he was just taken to the locker room by the medical staff with Colorado and will not return for the rest of the game. But hopefully the defense will be able to subside without him, but unfortunately he's a big part of their D. Guys?
All right, injuries mounting a little bit for both ball clubs here today as
Field by the offense, 5 yards in the previous spot. Repeat the down.
so the Aggies first with the sack and then the penalty, and now Texas A&M picking up, it's just the 4th penalty of the day on the Aggies, and it puts them in quite a hole. It is 2nd down again and 23 now. Ball on the 26. They've got to get to the 49, midfield, to get a first down. Ferris wants that and more, leaves it up for grabs, and it is picked up by the Buffaloes. It'll be down at the 30-yard line. And Wood comes up with the INT. Terrence Wood for the Buffs.
Watch this ball, it floats just a little bit, kind of flutters there. It gives an opportunity for CU to get back, although he was throwing into double coverage all the way around. It was just a matter of who wanted the ball more right there, and Wood took it away from him.
We'll take a break with the turnover, the first of the day. What will Colorado do with it? Stay with us. Colorado fans happy for the moment on the interception by Wood. The first interception of the first turnover of the day, and the senior from Pacifica, California makes the big play. Buffs first and 10 from their own 30-yard line. And in trouble, out of bounds is Hollowell. Fortunate to get some yards out of it. Looked like he was going to be tackled in the backfield, and he is finally brought down by Bernard.
This is how difficult Craig Oaks is to bring down one-on-one. Jesse Honeycutt had his arms around him, running a naked boot. He had no help out there on the outside, and he breaks the tackle. Here's a look at it right here. Naked boot, all by himself. Nope, that's Hollowell. I apologize, it was Hollowell.
Bernard there to cover him on the play. And it'll now be second down and 8. You know, the interception, considering A&M's plight, wasn't all that bad since it was a deep ball. Colorado trying to make it bad, though, as they run it right up the middle near the first down, just shy of the 40-yard line. Going to be third and less than a yard as Honeycutt made the tackle that time.
Take a look at the offensive push here that Colorado's getting. This is what they need to do, establish the run. Chris Brown, as we mentioned last week, 33 carries, only 6 in the first half. We're going to see if they can start wearing down that Aggie defensive line.
Third and less than a yard. No secret here. Brown straight ahead, still moving. Pulls his way near the 45-yard line before Terrence Keel, junior from Lufkin, Texas, makes the tackle for Texas A&M. Purify.
For teams to be successful, you've got to be able to pick up these third and short carries. Chris Brown, no, it's Purify, you're right. Purify with a bruising run there himself. He's in quite a bit of passing situations because he is such a tremendous athlete and pretty good hands out of the backfield. Again, Colorado continuing to go with the change of pace. Purify lined up at the tailback position again this time.
They fake it to him, and Oaks rolls out to pass, looking deep and incomplete. No flag, fans wanting it, of course, as
tremendous coverage by Sammy Davis. He had closing speed. If we can get a look at that, because he was beaten on the route. I think he bit on the initial play action there, and Craig Oaks threw it about as far as he could, rolling to his left and throwing back to the hash mark, and Sammy Davis closed in a hurry.
Matt Brunson, the intended receiver.
Here's the closing speed. He overthrew everybody. That's pretty good arm strength. Rolling to the left. We're going to get the personal foul. Rough in the quarter. I don't know. It looked like a clean hit to me. I don't know what they're calling.
On the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic
personal foul. You had it right against Penwright, and so the Buffs will move the chains with the penalty.
That's a very questionable call because Penwright was already in the motion of going for the tackle before Oaks had even released the ball. Very questionable. You got to give a guy a chance to make a play because Oaks, he's the type of quarterback that could have pulled that down and run with it. So Penwright's got to go for the tackle.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. First and 10, the ball on the 41, and A&M committing the turnover, and some penalties have hurt them both offensively and now defensively. And Colorado picking up on it momentum-wise. Jared Morris makes the tackle this time on the ball carrier.
Surprising, too, because they had a pretty flawless first half.
Yeah.
They went deep into the first half before they even had their first penalty And as you mentioned, now with a defensive penalty and offensive penalties on their last drive that put them in a very precarious situation, being 3rd and long.
14-14, 7:42 to go, 3rd quarter. Here in Boulder, Colorado marching. Johnson goes in motion, now sets to the right. The fake to Purify, and thrown out in the flat and incomplete.
And he had to get rid of it in a hurry. Christian Rodriguez was in his backyard so quick. He had no chance. I like the design of the play. You could almost see it being set up as Cortland Johnson went in motion, came back, tried to pick Christian Rodriguez just briefly and then release, but Oaks had to get rid of the ball so quick he didn't have time to have it hit it with any accuracy.
Hollowell brings the play into the huddle as Rodriguez set with the Aggie defense. 3rd down and 9 for the Buffaloes. Colorado, the ball on the 40-yard line. Oaks under pressure, unloads, got a man, Johnson off his fingertips. Oh my goodness. Cortland Johnson saying just a half a step further, just a bigger hand. And a great throw on Oaks Park considering what was in his face.
Boy, that was the mismatch they were looking for. They wanted Cortland Johnson, a linebacker. He was on Brian Gamble. By the way, good to see Brian Gamble back in the game. Guess he had maybe a little stinger, but they got the mismatch they wanted. Cortland Johnson trying to make the spectacular catch there. It would have been better if he just cradled it to make sure he made the catch.
Both teams have missed some opportunities with catchable balls. 4th and 9, and the punt by Flores. The fair catch again made, this time at the 15 by Gentry.
Now can I brag on him for a moment? He made a good move stepping up to make the catch there.
We'll take a timeout, be right back. Our score even at 14.
Since I don't get paid for my meals, I'm hungry.
1st and 10 for Texas A&M on its own 15 is Reveille. Always on the road for Texas A&M. And hoping that the Aggies' bite is better than their bark so far. As Texas A&M comes out, Aggies have been hurt with a little bit of a turnover here and also some penalties. All things considered, R.C. Slocum's got to be pretty happy that they didn't give anything up there point-wise, and at least not horrible field position, even though they're at the 15. Covering the football, and that was a lateral, I believe. They whistled it dead, but Murphy.
Bill, I'm with you. I believe that was a lateral, and he had to cover that ball. I think Farmer knew that. He attempted to cover it, but never fell on it. The referees, let's see if we can get an angle from the side to show whether that actually, that is that's questionable. I think it was maybe meant to be a lateral, and he kind of threw it out in front of him too much. So probably the correct call by the ref there. Incomplete pass,
yeah.
yes.
Terrence Murphy, the intended receiver. Now it's 2nd and 10. Again at the 15. Out of the shotgun, here's Mark Ferris. Hands it off. Colorado, they're waiting, but great effort by the running back, and bulls his way to near the 20-yard line before Harris makes the tackle. Number 34, Keith Joseph.
A&M still trying to establish the run as well. They've become somewhat one-dimensional.
Let's go down now to Sandy Williams on the sideline. Sandy?
Bill, Jesse Honeycutt for Texas A&M, the linebacker, is out for the rest of the game with a sprained left knee. He was filling in for Christian Rodriguez, who is playing today. Early indication is just sprained, but they will check and test to see if it's an ACL injury, and that is something that would be season-ending, guys.
Thank you. 3rd and 5, and the incompletion to Joseph out of the backfield, and Terrence Wood was covering. Now, Wood's become quite a story here today. Just 2 tackles in 29 plays in 3 games. He comes up with an interception. Because of injuries, he's got an opportunity, and here he is, a senior. You just never know when you're going to get your call.
Great to see for a senior an opportunity to get his chance. With an injury to Roderick Sneed, he's not been able to get back in the game. They're struggling with a little depth at the defensive back position, Colorado is.
Some heat on the punter, skates that time. He got it off, though, and the ball is fair catch as Hollowell slides in with the play at the 49 of the Buffaloes, and CU with great field position here, and 6:22 to go in the 3rd quarter. These 2 teams are about as even as you can get. I mean, we'll find out what happens in the final quarter and a half, but just very impressed with both teams' defense. The big play by A&M on the 64-yard touchdown pass has been the one just game breaker that we've seen here today. And then Colorado showing its ability at the end of the half to put together a last-minute drive and the two-point conversion to tie it up. And both still relying more on the ground game, as carrying the football, Marcus Houston getting the carry, the freshman from Denver.
Again, Colorado continuing to rotate the backs. Marcus Houston getting his shot on this series. As I mentioned in the last half, he is, people who don't follow Colorado football, he's the thoroughbred. He's the marquee running back of this four-horse backfield. Colorado would like to see him get healthy.
2nd and 10. Houston got out where a chance to show a little bit of his shiftiness and gets it to the 45-yard line of A&M. Harold Robertson made the tackle, senior from Dallas for Texas A&M. Backup inside linebacker. And yeah, something's got to give today. The CU offense averaging 235 on the ground. A&M defense only giving up 84.8. But today, 72 for Colorado.
I'd say A&M's winning that battle, at least right now anyway.
3rd down and 5. And the carry still going is Johnson, and he motors to the 30 into the 28-yard line. Cortland Johnson with the run. Give him 18 on the carry.
Cortland Johnson making a nice move. It's like they almost over-pursued the play as he breaks a tackle here. Looks like this is going to be a tackle for a loss. He just slips between the two defenders and moves on forward for a big first down for Colorado.
And a player injured for Texas A&M back at the 45-yard line. And we'll try to find out who it is as quickly as we can.
Might be Penrite. It might be the Jonte Buell, as he was going for the tackle going low. You can see the injury right here.
Take a look.
Take a look. It looks like Buell's helmet hits Penrite right in the knee, kind of hyperextends it there. Certainly hope he's okay, because Penrite's been a heck of a player today. He's been all over the field, dropping back in pass coverage, disrupting running plays, chasing Craig Oaks all over the field.
All right, another player down. We'll check on the status when we come back with our game tied.
Marcus Houston, he's a freshman. He got the hardship red shirt last year.
Welcome back. You take a look at Penrite, who wanted to stay on the field, but when the injury timeout is called, you must leave the field. Hopefully he'll be all right. You certainly got to like the attitude of Penrite. Colorado, 1st and 10 after that 18-yard pickup. Houston trying to break some tackles and nothing doing this time, as he is stopped at the 30-yard line, a loss on the play.
He had nowhere to go from the get-go. Believe it was Ty Warren, tied up like 2 or 3 offensive linemen for Colorado. They have to hold him just to keep him from making the play.
Clock moving at 4:32. Line of scrimmage now the 30-yard line. It'll be a 2nd and 13, a loss of 3 for Houston that time. He lines up as the lone back behind the quarterback, Craig Oaks. Hollowell in motion. Oaks hands off. Houston puts his head down and goes across the 30 to the 27-yard line, where Sammy Davis makes the play, the junior from Humble, Texas.
Not a lot of space out there right now for the Colorado running game, no matter who's in the backfield. Cortland Johnson made a heck of a play to pick up the first down. Last time it was 3rd and long. You can see some of that elusiveness in Marcus Houston. He just doesn't have a whole lot of room to operate right now.
3rd and 10 for the Buffs. Scoreless 3rd quarter so far. At the 27, Oaks steps up, gonna keep the football, does not get the first down, about 5 shy, and Colorado would go into a field goal situation here. Simon made the tackle, Line of scrimmage going to be the 23, making a 40-yard field goal attempt for Flores.
Pretty quick decision by Craig Oaks to pull this down and run it. I'm on Simon, the linebacker. Fill in there in a nickel and dime package. Great one-on-one tackle.
Flores trying to give the Buffs the lead. Had a 51-yarder earlier, and he connects here. And 39 officially on it. And it's good for 3, and the Buffaloes take the lead once again. 17-14 Colorado. We've got 2:59 to go here in the third period.
Again, that's Colorado taking advantage of field position. Continued to work, kept Texas A&M backed up, finally get a little bit of a drive going. Really didn't have too many big plays other than Cortland Johnson slipping through the tackle there where Penwright got hurt.
So Flores, 9 of the 17 today on the field goals. Let's go down to Sandy Williams for more on Penwright.
Bill, all Penwright did was hyperextend his knee. He is expected to go back in. He was on the sideline doing knee-ups in a jumping position to prove to his coaches that he is okay, and he is expected to go back on the field, but don't expect him to be the flying guy that he was before because it does look a little stiff. Bill?
All right, we'll keep an eye on Penwright.
And the longer he stays off the field, the stiffer it's going to get because A&M's sideline is in the shadows right now here at Folsom Field.
See Penwright trying to loosen things up. Aggies will get the ball back now on the kickoff with the wind at the back of Colorado. And A&M knowing they'll have the wind in the fourth quarter. With 2:59 from that point. As to kick it off for Colorado, Pat Broham, junior from Wheat Ridge. And it'll be down in the end zone. I hesitated, just to be sure here, by Gentry. Aggies and Buffs, it's been back and forth today. A&M sparked by Taylor's 2 TD receptions, hasn't got any catches in the second half. McCoy with a TD grab and then followed it with a 2-point conversion to tie the game before the half. Ferris for 172, 2 touches, 1 INT. Flores with now 3 field goals in the game. That should be corrected as he hit the 18, the 51, and now the 39-yarder. And it's a 17-14 ball game.
He's been busy today. It's a good thing he doesn't have to kick off or he might be worn out.
So's that guy. No time to go to the barber shop. First and 10, all on the 20.
Now that is a lateral.
Murphy in trouble. Remember, he was a high school quarterback, still looking to throw. Now he's going to have to run. Escapes the tacklers to the 20, 25, 30, and out of bounds. Oh, what a play. He ran about 15 to 20 yards to get back to the line of scrimmage and then made a positive out of it as Tufts and Lewis made the tackle, forcing him out of bounds.
Take a look at it. This time it is a lateral. It's set up to throw it. Murphy's looking downfield, nothing. This is where his high school quarterback instincts come back into play. Still looking to throw it, and he makes it. He must have run 50 yards on that play just to pick up 10.
Corey Masoni is the number 12, the player for Colorado that missed the tackle. That would have been maybe a loss or little gain. Instead, it's first and 10 as he picked up 13. And they come back to Derek Farmer.
That's one thing Colorado will do is they'll rotate their linebackers in. Pretty solid up front. Guy won't come out on the defensive line unless he really needs a blow, but that's why Masoni was in at that particular series. It's probably based on a number of plays as opposed to a number of series, because the last series was 3 or 4 and out.
So Colorado trying to stiffen defensively here. 2nd and 5 for Texas A&M. Ferris hands to Farmer, and Farmer gang tackled in at the 40-yard line. Robinson led the way and held him up. 3rd and short coming up for the Aggies.
Great open field tackle by Robbie Robinson. They just kind of met chest to chest there. Robbie hung on to bring him down.
3rd and 3 for Texas A&M, down 3, 1:38 and counting here in the 3rd quarter. R.C. Slocum looking on a critical 3rd down situation. Ferris to pass, got time, looking for the screen. Farmer Rock at the 37, no first down. Terrence Wood coming up big. And the Aggies are now 4 of 13 on third down conversion opportunities.
He read that screen all the way. The defensive line was in great position. Terrence Wood just sneaks under the blockers there. One-on-one tackle.
Yeah, Ferris, that was about the only way he could get him the ball, but Farmer's probably thinking, oh no, as he had to go up knowing he's gonna get hit. Here's the punt by Skates. Hollowell coming out of the shadows to take it in the sunshine. Dances by one. Hollowell, 25, still breaking tackles. A sensational return by Hollowell to the 33-yard line.
It's a case where you almost out-punch your coverage. Hollowell, the type of guy that can make the first guy miss. That's what he does. He finds a little seam. He was one tackle away from breaking that all the way.
45-yard punt as Hollowell brings it out to give them excellent field position at the 33-yard line on a 16-yard return that he pretty well did all on his own.
Colorado continues to shuttle the tailbacks. Bobby Purify's turn this time.
Jasmine sets up on the defensive front. Marcus, the freshman from New Orleans. As Oaks play action, looking deep. Got a man wide open, it's McCoy! An ankle grabbed at the 35, or he'd have gotten 6 again. Jay Brooks came up with a play, and the Buffs move into Aggie territory.
Aggies playing a little man zone here. Jonte Buell lets him go. He just settles in an area right there. He almost stopped on his route, but Craig Oaks let him just enough to keep him going. It's a nice shoestring tackle to keep that from being a touchdown.
At the 32-yard line, and a game of momentum swings. It's all Buffaloes right now. 1st and 10 at the 32 of Texas A&M. 25 seconds to go in the quarter. And determined run that is stopped inside the 30-yard line.
Must have been a miscommunication on that last big play to McCoy, because Buell is passing him off thinking he's got safety help, thinking he's got deep third or deep half help. He didn't get it. Safety was way too late. McCoy wide open.
That'll end the third quarter. Colorado fans approve. The Buffaloes have the lead, 17-14 over Texas A&M, as the Aggs and the Buffs tied at the half. It's Colorado 17-14 going to the 4th period. Johnson, Colorado touchdown. Cortland Johnson.
Well-designed play.
And the Buffaloes get a little breathing room finally.
Well, maybe we know why Colorado continues to shuffle the backs. They keep shuffling until they find the hot one. Cortland Johnson seems to be the hot back today.
And the point after by Flores is good, as Cortland Johnson gets his first touchdown of the year. He scored one last year against A&M. He gets one here and gives them a 10-point cushion. Well, Colorado has seemingly taken control of this game, but 11:45 to go. Cortland Johnson with a 2-yard touchdown run.
Watch the kick-out block by Sipnewski there. Was that Sipnewski? That was Bo Williams. Just opens up a little seam. That's all Cortland Johnson needs. And people who don't follow Colorado football, Cortland Johnson is a very talented back in his own right. He's been plagued by injuries, hadn't been able to stay healthy on the field.
His best year is sophomore season, where he ran for 835 yards and scored 8 TDs. Last year, 622 and 8 touchdowns. And it gets his first touchdown on that one.
That was Marcus Houston
here today. And 11:45 to go, the kickoff. Throw him, and it goes Gentry, gonna down it. And Texas A&M, they're gonna turn the tide of momentum. Not saying they necessarily have to score here, David, but they're gonna give that defense a little bit of breather.
Yes, they do. Colorado's had 28 minutes of possession in this game so far, only 19 to Texas A&M. A&M, no reason to panic yet. Still 11:40 left in the game, but they need to show some consistency on offense. Been the big question of the day. They had the big play to get him the touchdown on the hot route to Jamar Taylor. But they've got to move the chains and get at least a field goal on this drive.
Aggies need a little field position and to try to give their defense some downtime. And they come out throwing and complete run out of bounds on the 27-yard line to Joe Weber, the sophomore fullback. And Drew Walrus made the stop that time for the Buffs.
This is where the Buffs can recognize what A&M's doing. They're going to make them one-dimensional, down 10 now. Fairly ineffective running the football. Colorado's going to put that dime package in. Front down lineman will just pin the ears back.
Toss out on the flat, and not much for Joe Weber that time as Terrence Wood was there to make the play. And it'll be a third down. Loss of about a yard.
See, that may have been a completion, but Ferris took a beating on that completion. That's what I mean by Colorado can really tee off now.
And they'll come here. Third down and 4. Ferris to Weber again. Breaks one tackle.
Got to get to the 30-yard line.
Don't think he made it. He pushed the ball forward, but the official's marking it shy. And it appears quite obvious that it's going to be less than a yard, but it is not going to be a first down. Sorrell was covering. They'll measure just to give him an opportunity to take a look at it, I'm guessing. We'll see.
A&M kind of resigned to the fact of just working the ball out into the flat and see if their guy can make a play for yards after the catch. The big fullback, Joe Weber, almost eludes him, but couldn't. A&M starting to run out a number of possessions here.
Yeah, and fourth and less than a yard. The ball on the 29 and skates on to punt. Hollowell, the lone deep man. And that's where Colorado will get it. But give that Colorado defense a pat on the back again as they force A&M into a 3-and-out.
Exactly what you said didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
A&M's defense needed to get some rest. They needed to move the chains a little bit and hopefully pick up 3 points. They didn't get it. 3-and-out. A&M's right back on the field. Watch Colorado go to work on the clock with a running game.
Yeah, even if A&M doesn't score there, that if they at least move the ball a little bit and give that defense just a chance to catch its breath, then maybe they can come back, get a turnover, maybe get a cheap one. But now that defense showing some wear and tear, and you've got the injury situation. You see there, Penwright back in the game. Of course, Honeycutt is out. Rodriguez playing with a bad knee.
Running the football is all about attitude, and that's why Colorado started having some success running the football. We've talked about how big these guys are up front, but they're very physical now. They're much more aggressive. They used to have an offensive line that was more designed to pass protect. To run the ball, you got to have a want to. You got to come off the football and want to hit somebody right in the mouth, and that's what Colorado's going to do right now. I guarantee you the coaches on the sideline were saying, we win this football game if you're able to churn off a few first downs and run some clock down.
Why'd you take a swing at me? I thought that was them supposed to hit somebody.
I get a little excited.
Okay, take it easy here. Second down and 6 now for the Buffs. And you don't need to wonder too much about the play selection here. It's going to be stop us if you can. And Brown that time brought down by Rodriguez.
But still look for Colorado to stay within their offense because they want to keep the chains moving. They don't want to turn the ball right back to Texas A&M and go 3-and-out themselves.
3rd and 3 here.
Getting a little confusion. Colorado getting the play in late on a 3rd and 3 situation. Play that's been so effective all day. Cortland Johnson circling out of the backfield.
Well, Colorado, the first team to score on the Aggies in the 4th quarter all season. Now facing a 3rd and 3 with a 10-point lead, and they got the first down. Complete to Drum, and he rumbles to the 37-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds, and that'll move the chains. And there's what you're talking about with still throwing the football.
Yeah, just slipped another back out of the backfield this time. Used Chris Brown. He went the opposite way. The fullback just kind of runs out in the flat there. Nobody's seen him catch the ball today. Pretty much uncovered.
And Gary Barnett saying before the game, leading up this week, that, hey, I love the running game, and I love the physical part of our game, but we have to throw it some more, and we have to trust that we can throw it, and to people other than Daniel Graham, and they have done that today. 1st and 10 at the 37. Johnson met with a wall and goes down hard. A loss on the play as Rocky Bernard there one more time for Texas A&M.
Warren as well. Those guys are workhorses up front. Watch the penetration these two guys get. There's no quitting these two guys from A&M. This is a big back to bring down. A head-on-head collision there. Hit him right in the numbers. Then you can't miss him, can you?
Brown, a sophomore from Naperville, Illinois, 6'3", 225, recruited by Barnett when he was at Northwestern and then transferred here after going to Fort Scott Junior College. So
a little detour to the junior college ranks.
Second and 10. Purify out near midfield.
And he nearly broke it.
Yeah.
You could see him about 5 yards into that run. It was a little burst. He had a little second gear to go into. And if it weren't for those two A&M tacklers just getting a piece of him, he was gone. See right here. Jay Brooks just got enough of him. Just got to watch Bobby Purify. Once he gets on the corner here, you can see him almost kicking into another gear. He's like, oh yeah, I got it now. Just about squirted through that hole.
And that makes it another 1st and 10 at the 48. And again on the ground, Houston makes a miss, dances, bringing one with him. Inside the 40 of Texas A&M, Marcus Houston.
Boy, you could hear the crowd erupt when Marcus broke it right there. Everybody pulling for this kid. He's very popular here on the university, very involved in the academic side. He's not just a college football player. He's a student athlete by definition. Good kid.
Well, 332 yards rushing is what he had in the 3 games last year, and then got the medical red shirt after the hip flexor injury. So everyone excited here about him coming back, and then more injury problems this year, and finally getting a chance today to show a little bit about what he's got. 1st and 10 at the 38 after the 10-yard pickup, and Purify the call again. Just when Morris makes the tackle.
Just when you think Colorado's got A&M on their heels a little bit, they step up and make a big-time stop.
The clock is moving, though. 6:51 and counting here. Both teams with all their timeouts remaining, but R.C. Slocum knows that they need a stop. They need a turnover.
A&M, yes, I was thinking the same thing myself. A&M, I noticed defensively, they don't huddle. They don't get in the huddle. That's where a team leader can say, okay, we need the ball. Somebody's got to make a play. Get the ball, get the ball.
Second man's got to make the hit or dig for the football. 2nd down and 9 here now for the Buffaloes as Oaks hands it off. Purify. Slipped and then hit. Doing a good job of protecting the football that time as Keel led the way for Texas A&M.
3rd and long situation again. Realize your situation here. Colorado with the ball on 37 going in. They only need to pick up 5 or 6 yards, and they're in legitimate field goal range again. They don't necessarily have to get the 1st down.
Right now leading by 10, 24-14. Yeah, and that extra 3, if they would get it, becomes mighty important. Oaks intercepted. The Aggies got what they wanted.
Sure did.
Bodovich, he's across the 40 to the 42-yard line.
That's exactly what we were
Bodovich
talking about. A&M needed someone to step up and make a play, and that's why they've been so successful as a defense. There's no quit out there. Those guys are continuing to work. Craig Oaks, don't know what he was looking at, just flat overthrew his tight end, Daniel Graham there. He wasn't even looking for the ball.
Bodovich's first interception, and that's to me where you look at Oaks and say, all right, young man, are you coming of age? It's 3rd and 9. We don't have to have this here. Throw it away, eat the football, do not give it back, and give them a chance to gain momentum. They're on their own 42 with 5:30 to go. Ferris got a man, and it's Murphy. He completes it down inside the 40 of Colorado. Ferris, did he drill that mother?
Did he sneak on the field? Because he was so wide open, I don't even think Colorado had a man on him over there. Wood, again, lets him go like A&M did earlier. Safety trying to get over. Murphy wide open, though.
Ball on the 37 after a 22-yard gain on the pass play to Murphy from Ferris. Out of the shotgun, 1st and 10. Going for 6 right here. Got it! Touchdown, Aggies! Oh, my!
Have we got a ball game?
Murphy again!
That is a big-time catch. Over the shoulder, beats his man, 2 plays, and the Aggies go 61 yards?
Incredible. Take a look at this one. What a grab by Murphy.
Fantastic. There's that consistency Dino Babers is looking for.
36 yards in the pass play. And on for the point after. Skates makes it, and mighty important, obviously, a field goal now would tie this game for Texas A&M. Another look at Ferris to Murphy for 36 and the touchdown. Woo! What a ball game we got here in Boulder. Mark Ferris, another touchdown strike. Probably saying, wow, was he that open both times?
I think they saw something on the sideline last possession when Colorado was bringing the house in this type of situation when they knew that they had A&M in a one-dimensional game.
Murphy, 8 catches, 129 yards, and a touchdown, and Murphy getting his 2nd touchdown of the year. He had come in with just 8 catches on the season for 166 yards. So you see the talent this guy's got as Skates boots it out of the end zone. And Ferris is 20 of 35 for 232 and 3 touchdowns.
Here's the touchdown. Terrence Murphy just running a seam route right down the middle. Ferris looking at him all the way. There was really no trickery. They were just looking for that mismatch. He beat Medford Moore, had him by a couple steps. This kid's going to be a player. You can see the talent he has and why he's playing as a true freshman.
Coaches always tell you, somebody else goes down, it's an opportunity for you to step up. And Murphy and some of his teammates are showing that today. Colorado goes back to the ground attack on 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line as the Buffs owning a 3-point lead, 24-21.
That's what you got to love about college football. Colorado's last possession, they had a 3rd and 7 or 8 situation, close to being in field goal range. It could have set it up to a 13-point game. They throw an interception. 2 plays later, A&M goes 58 yards for a touchdown, and now it's a 3-point game.
Yeah, the game's seemingly all but over. Colorado needing one more big play. Instead, A&M gets it with the INT, and then the 2 pass plays and a touchdown, and now all bets are off again. It's 2nd down and 6. The ball on the 24. And right up the middle as Colorado continuing to move the chains as Cortland Johnson carrying the football.
They're not getting away from what they've had success with in the second half, running the football off the guard, off the center. Cortland Johnson been the most successful runner of the foursome.
Excuse me, David, we're talking about, as you look at Gary Barnett, the Aggies getting some rest for their defense. Well, they didn't give them any rest at all. They intercepted it 2 plays later. They're right back out there, and yeah, they're fired up, but they also got to be a little winded.
A little winded, but they're adrenalized now.
Yeah. Here's Johnson. Slams it to the right side, out to the 35-yard line.
Colorado continuing to work that clock inside 4 minutes and counting. Just a little tidbit of information. A&M has the wind in their favor if they get the ball back for a potential game-tying field goal.
A&M yet to go for a field goal today. They had a fake early on in the game. Meanwhile, Colorado's gotten 3 from Flores, including a career-best 51-yarder. A&M's success has been Taylor with a pair of touchdown receptions, and then Murphy with the electrifying 36-yard grab with the point after tying it up, or bringing within 3. As the Buffs on 2nd and 6 continue to pound it up the middle as Chris Brown gets the opportunity this time. Now a 3rd down and 3rd and 5, unlike the last 3rd down where it's 3rd and 9. Let's see what the Buffaloes come up with here. And the clock now, moving at 2:56. You throw it?
Colorado will probably be aggressive and try to pick up the 1st down. But with 2:45 and counting, you might want to make A&M go ahead and use one of their timeouts by keeping the ball on the ground.
4 on the play clock. They get it off in time. Oaks hands it off. Cortland Johnson, and he is stuffed. And now A&M wants a timeout right here. With 2:30 to go, smart call by the Aggies as Bernard made the tackle on that play, and then they immediately signaled timeout. So they'll have the full 30 seconds on the play clock. RC Slocum looking on.
Went to their go-to guy for the second half, Cortland Johnson, but he had no room to run in. Pursuit all over the place, led by Rocky Bernard.
So a timeout called with 2:30 to go. Colorado 4th down and 4 on its own 37. And A&M to get the ball back. Well, Colorado, we talked about the running game coming in, and they have spread it around today and used it very well. They've won the time of possession battle and lead 24-21, and we'll take a look here in a second at exactly how it's been spread around as far as the running game is concerned, with Brown, Purified, Johnson, and Marcus Houston also getting in on the act with some exciting plays. There you go. Brown and Johnson, 14 carries each. Johnson was 64, Brown 40, Purify 11 of 42. And will it be enough? 51 carries, 172 yards as a team. And
this is always the situation where the field goal kicker waiting to get his opportunity. He's not even warming up. He's calm, relaxed.
Cody Skates out on the field. Flores will punt it away as A&M has one man deep. Aggies have blocked some punts this year. Time of possession today, Colorado 11 more minutes. They've had the football. 32-55, A&M 21-56.
Watch for number 21 for A&M, Jay Brooks. They call him Big Play Jay. He's kind of bouncing around right now. He's going to be off Colorado's right tackle. He's blocked 5 punts in his career.
Flores. They back off just a bit to try to set up a little bit of a return. They get away from it, and it takes a Colorado roll inside the 15, inside the 10, to the 9-yard line. So, 91 yards to pay dirt for the Aggies. Earlier, they found Taylor for 64 yards and a touchdown. That made it 7-6 A&M. They came back. Taylor again on the jump ball. 14-6. And then Colorado came back. Derek McCoy and a 2-point conversion. Here it is. 14-all. That's the way it was at the half. Second half, Colorado came back. Flores a field goal, Johnson a TD. And then A&M answered with a touchdown of their own. On first down, carrying the football or Goings on the play. Strickland makes the play defensively.
Here's the A&M touchdown that pulls it into 3. Terrence Murphy, the over the shoulder. That's a beautiful catch. That's a tough ball. He made it look easy.
24-21. It is second down and 1 after the 9-yard pickup. Falling down and on the ground, Taylor takes it from Mark Ferris. I don't know if Ferris actually saw him on the ground. Well, all right, I'll give it to you right at where your knees would normally be.
Or run the next play.
Go down, fall down, and I'll hit you there.
Colorado willing to give the underneath play right now.
First and 10, clock moving at 2 minutes now. Taylor again, trying to make some yardage. Would have been smarter there. Of course, easy to say up here to spin out of bounds.
Absolutely. You've got to get out of bounds in that situation. Clock working against you. You do have 2 timeouts, but you've got to get out of bounds. The yards aren't as important as the time right now on a little play like that.
Second and 6, you only got 4, and the clock moving, and Ferris out of the shotgun. Throws this one complete to Taylor again. He stays in bounds, but he gets the first down. And out near 50. Now they'll move the chains, so the clock will stop momentarily as Strickland made the play. But Colorado, well, you get in that prevent defense, and some people says prevents winning.
Prevents you from winning. Right now, Colorado giving that underneath. Jamar Taylor, again, not getting out of bounds. Yes, the clock does stop temporarily. Now A&M forced to use a time. No,
Colorado called the
using
timeout. Yeah.
Colorado using the timeout to regroup because A&M really only needs another 21 yards to be in legitimate field goal position for a 47, 48-yarder.
Remember, Skate's best has been 48, as he had that against Baylor last week. Here is Cody, sophomore out of Tyler Lee High School.
Right now, his stomach's churning. He's going, am I going to get a shot at this? I used to warm up, so I didn't have to see what the exact situation was going on, and I just kind of watched the scoreboard to see if it was third down, if we were in field goal range.
I would imagine, of course, you want the opportunity. That's why you're a kicker.
Yes.
But you're also like, either hurry up and get here, right? It's that waiting that must work on the nerves.
The waiting's the hardest part, as Tom Petty used to sing about. This is, right now, he should be going through mental preparations, putting his mind at ease, realizing he's hit these field goals before in practice, so that when he walks out on the field in a game-tying situation, he's been there before. It's not going to be a concern to him. Although he's had a rocky start, only 5 for 12 thus far on the season for field goals, as you mentioned, a 48-yarder. But now he's going to start to loosen up a little bit. It's rather chilly down there on the sideline in the shade.
Both teams 2 timeouts remaining as Colorado using one here, and I think that was a smart call by Gary Barnett to get his club kind of reset here to see if they can stiff it. 1st and 10 on the 49. Ferris throws to Murphy. Murphy looking for a block. Cutting upfield, watch out, 40. Murphy dives to the 36-yard line. And Murphy now sets him up with 1:16 to go. Lewis made the tackle. Boy, this guy is dangerous.
I think A&M has found a pair of receivers today in Jamar Taylor and Terrence Murphy. Just throwing the ball, little slip screen over the side there. It's all individual effort. It's all on him after that.
1st and 10 on the 35, and watch out, loose football, Colorado recovers. The Buffaloes will go the distance. It is Johnson. Johnson, touchdown, Colorado. Celebrate. We talked about turnovers, and Colorado gets it when they need it, and the big play that has been the difference maker here today, and Gary Barnett got a huge one there. The fumble forced by Masoni, and the pickup by Johnson, and the return for the touchdown, and Flores for the point after, and they can party in Boulder. With 58 seconds to go, it's 31-21.
Colorado needed to do something. They were just sitting back on their heels in the prevention from winning defense. Corey Masoni comes off the corner. Mark Ferris has got to take better care of the ball. He saw him at the last minute. Last thing you want to do is turn the ball over in that situation.
52 yards on the return by Johnson. And Joey Johnson gets the touchdown.
Colorado's really not a gambling team. They don't blitz that often. Only about 15% of the time will you see them blitz, and maybe another 15% of the time in a more conservative zone-type blitz.
And Johnson out of San Antonio MacArthur, you know it's sweet for him to do it against the Texas A&M Aggies, as Mark Ferris looks up and sees the replay on the big scoreboard screen here. And Texas A&M now down 10 with 58 seconds to go. And that's Colorado's first fumble recovery of the season. And that is amazing to have this good a defense and not have created more.
Yeah, considering the way they have played defense this season, they've had some opportunities. The ball's been on the ground. They just haven't recovered them. This time they recovered it. Not only were they able to regain possession, they took it to the house for a touchdown.
There's Masoni, who created it with the sack and forcing the fumble. And Johnson taking it to the Dal Ward Center, or in this case, the house.
It's amazing how quickly momentum can change, because as we were sitting here watching this develop, I was sure A&M was going to at least get a game-tying field goal, if not go down and win the game the way they were moving the ball.
And just like that, it has gone back and forth all day. And R.C. Slocum, knowing they're in dire straits now. And the kickoff. Into a pretty good wind. It is taken on the 3-yard line. And brought out across the 20. Where the Aggies will get it there as Sammy Davis on the return. And the Colorado fans have been rewarded for their effort today, have they not?
Yes, indeed they have. The crowd stuck around. They stood by their team. They got to see a tremendous college football game. What a run by Joey Johnson. I couldn't be happier for Joey Johnson. He's had to step in and play for Jay-Sean Sykes, done an outstanding job. The beneficiary of a fumble just sitting there waiting to be picked up.
Now, both these teams, through injuries, have found not just good, but great players that are going to provide dividends for them. And Colorado's going to feel better because they're going to get a W unless the Aggies pull off a miracle comeback here. The pass complete, and Jones takes it out of bounds.
But you can just hear the coaches on Monday. Next time, Joey, just fall on it. Don't pick it up and try to run with it. We don't need a touchdown. We're already winning. All we need is possession. Just fall on it.
Now, Gary Burnett probably say, great play, young man. I love your attitude.
Coaches can always find something you should do better, even on a big play, huh?
1st and 10 from the 36. Ferris in trouble again. Escapes one man, complete, out of bounds, back near the line of scrimmage at the 36.5, as Harris was chasing Ferris that time.
A&M really has to be looking for a home run ball here to score quickly and have enough time for an onside kick.
Well, Gary Barnett sees his team, if they hang on, to go getting 3 straight Big 12 wins and start off 3-0. First time since '96 here at Colorado. So, yeah, the buzz is back with the Buffs here in Boulder. As Colorado getting the hometown attention with the win at K-State last week.
Do you think Jamar Taylor got a little talk on the sideline? Because that time he moved upfield and then quickly stepped out of bounds.
Yeah. So they're at midfield, 33 seconds to go, but down 10. So they need 2 scores. Ferris out of the shotgun again. Going across the field, intended for Murphy. A little bit underthrown, covered by Wood.
Colorado's giving him the underneath stuff.
Well, homecoming, tell you what, any alum that's here today got to say, well, I'm not going to miss next year's deal.
Glad I came back for this weekend.
Colorado had won 16 straight homecoming dates until last year, falling to Texas. And boy, they responded today. 2nd and 10, Ferris dumps it out of the backfield and getting the football down inside the 40 that time is Fleming. Osler Fleming, a sophomore from Denton, Texas. Didn't see much of him today. He had 155 yards rushing coming in. Johnson and Sorrell make the tackle. The clock at 19 seconds. Ferris, incomplete. Colorado nearly getting the pick that time as Sorrell was right there.
I think you got to be taking shots at the end zone right here.
Yeah, because
I
you got 12
understand
seconds.
that play. I really don't. What good does picking up another 10, 12 yards do for Texas A&M? They need to get the ball in the end zone
so you can get the onside kick
and have another shot at the end zone.
And probably will go that direction here. It's 2nd and 10 from the 36-yard line. And intercepted Colorado.
Terrence Wood, I think, isn't it?
What a day as Wood gets his 2nd interception, and Colorado will seal it there with 5 seconds to go.
That's what happens when you got the #1 offense going against the #1 defense in the conference. It's usually the unsung players, the guys you don't hear about. Terrence Wood, just back there playing safety. That's what you want to do. But again, coach probably would have said, knock it down, don't catch it. Knock it down.
And Colorado will take a knee, I would assume, here, as a bitter one for the Aggies to swallow, but what a big day for the Buffaloes, who will go to 5-1, 3-0 in the Big 12. The Aggies, with their first loss at 5-1, and 2-1 in Big 12 play. And take a knee, Oaks does. And Colorado 31, Texas A&M 21. What a finish. What a ball game from start to finish that we've witnessed today here in Boulder as Gary Barnett and R.C. Slocum visited midfield. Penwright and the wrecking crew got wrecked. 31-21. Buffs the final today, winning it by 10 as big plays turned out to turn this one to the tide of the Colorado Buffaloes.
No reason for Texas A&M to hang their heads, though. I think they discovered some receivers today, and Jamar Taylor and Terrence Murphy, two young guys. They're going to continue to develop and get some chemistry with Mark Ferris. I like what I saw there, but they need to be able to run the ball a little bit more consistently. Big win for Colorado, though, as they get in the thick of their Big 12 schedule here.
Let's go down to Sandy Williams, who's got, I'm sure, a happy and relieved Gary Barnett with her.
That's right. He's already adjusting the video, so let's chime in.
Chance to fold it up and get down on ourselves, and you know, someone made a play and kept coming back, and so you know, what can you say about these guys? They're on a mission.
In a season that can sometimes be magical, you need big plays like this, and you guys keep coming up with them in the games that you got to win.
Well, you need a lot of things, and you just got to have guys making plays and believing in each other, and that's what we had today, and we've had that all year.
Okay.
So.
Coach, before you go, how fitting was it that Joey Johnson came in and scored the last touchdown after starting second time for Jay Sean Sykes?
Well, yeah, I said something to Joey that he probably couldn't have done that at Southwest Texas State, but it was very fitting because Joey's playing so well.
Congratulations, Coach. Let's send it back to Bill and David.
All right, thank you very much. Colorado celebrates 31-21, the final over Texas A&M here in Boulder. Boulder's Craig Oaks helps lead the Colorado Buffaloes to a 31-21 victory, but it took a Texan to put the final blow to the Aggies as Joey Johnson scooped up the fumble recovery to make it 31-21. And what a finish. Not anything easier for these teams down the road either,
Yeah,
David.
tremendous college football game. It doesn't get any easier for Colorado. They go on the road to play Texas next weekend, and Texas A&M has to play on the road at Kansas State.
For David Treadwell and Sandy Williams, this is Bill Land saying so long from Boulder. Our final score once again, Colorado 31, Texas A&M 21. So long, everybody.